Hello and welcome to a DFS strategy video for the 2023 WM Phoenix Open. We are live. This is a strategy video, and basically what we're going to be doing is taking everything we learned from the preview video yesterday, adding that to this video, going over the Marquee Tee Times as well as the anchor buckets and the SweetSpot Ranks. So if you are in the chat, be prepared to leave some questions. I like to read the chat. We're going to be building lineups at the end of this video, so if you have some lineup ideas, let me know, and we will go over them. Looks like looks like the live video is up. Perfect. Had some weird issues. It's like the 5th time doing a live video, and for whatever reason, it never goes smoothly. This time, I didn't even hit the go live button, so I was talking for a little while, and then we went live. So we're learning. 5th time in. We'll get it figured out. Anyways, welcome in. Like I said, it's a strategy video. Before we actually get into everything, just a reminder of some giveaways I like to do. The first one being what I call a subscriber giveaway. So we did one yesterday. There was a monthly giveaway that I gave out yesterday. We didn't reach the sub goal that you see all the way over there to the left of 500 subscribers. We got to fit 482. Now, if we don't reach that subscriber goal, we don't run the giveaway for the $50 you see on screen. Instead, we do it for a t-shirt. And the t-shirt has the logo that my sweatshirt has. So it's kind of still my way of rewarding those that have participated over this whole last month. If you want to get into this monthly giveaway for this upcoming month, well, for the whole month of February, I should say, all you gotta do is be subscribed and participate on my channel. Doesn't matter which video you comment on, you'll get a free entry into each. Well, you get a free entry from each of those videos. You only get one per video, so no matter how many times you comment on it, you only get one free entry. I still appreciate all the participation, so if you have more questions about a video, please leave them. You know, don't just come in and use it as your chance for a free entry or multiple free entries. I do like to engage with my audience, so appreciate everyone who does. Most of the people that do, you know, they're looking for answers for questions and stuff like that. They actually like to participate. Good evening, Joanne. How's it going, Charlie Carden? Oh, I can't wait. This tournament's going to be awesome. But anyways, continue on with the giveaways. The monthly giveaway is the same as the weekly giveaway, and I still have to update the graphic so I can show weekly giveaways. I have to do that this upcoming week. This last week was busy. I had a little get together with some friends over the weekend. Usually my weekend is the time that I get to update my streaming stuff, update any, you know, really anything that relates to this golf stuff that I like to do. So hopefully I can do that this weekend, and I have to update this. So the monthly and the weekly giveaway are the same. I also have another giveaway that I like to do. It's called the Prize Picks giveaway. If you haven't signed up on Prize Picks yet, I have a link in the description below. That'll get you straight out to the Prize Picks site, and it'll already populate that SweetSpot promo code. So just go to the sign up page, and it'll already be there. Sign up, put 20 bucks in your account, and I'm gonna give you your $20 back. So that way you get to play this for free. Plus, Prize Picks will match your deposit up to $100. So you really get to play this for free. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. Is if you want to try it out for free, you certainly can. Prize Picks does require a minimum deposit of $20, so it just goes hand in hand. I'm just trying to help you guys out. You can put up to 100 bucks if you want. Entirely up to you guys. You're still going to get $20 back from me. Again, link in the description below. There are some things that I'm just providing for free. So there's no giveaway, like there's no raffle or anything like that. Those being a cheat sheet, which you can also find in the description below, a link to the cheat sheet. I'm putting that up right now. I can see one person is in there currently. Again, link is in the description. So once you go to this site, all I ask you to do is go to the file menu and make a copy. Because I have filters on here that can only be accessed by making a copy of the spreadsheet. So you'll want to do that so you have access to the filters. You don't have to if you don't care about the filters, because all this data is up here. I did not make the spreadsheet editable, primarily because I just want to avoid any bad actors out there coming in and vandalizing the sheet. So You make a copy, it's yours. You get to add whatever pieces of information you want to this, but you get all the data that's on the screen. Everything that I go over in my preview and my strategy videos, you can find here. I've already highlighted the rankings to show you which golfers are part of the Marquee Tee Times. So all of this is available to you. Plus, the bucket system is here as well. So everything that I'll be talking about with the buckets, you can find here, and also use the filters. So again, link in the description. Once you're there, go to File, make a copy, and the whole spreadsheet's yours. Okay, and then the other thing that I'm providing is a cheat sheet. I've got not a cheat sheet, an optimizer. I've got 2 of them. I'm going to show you the differences between the 2. Now, if you're interested in either of the optimizers, one is basically only top 100 SweetSpot rank golfers, and the other one is the entire field. That's the difference between the 2. So I will be using this at the end of the video, building lineups for myself, for anyone out there that is looking to create some lineups over, if you give me 2 golfers, 3 golfers, we'll let the bucket system do its work and fill in your lineups. And of course, we can build more than just one. We can build as many as you'd like. If you didn't like some of the golfers that the optimizer is selecting, we can continue to build lineups. It's basically my way to work with you. We get to engage with each other. And hopefully get you on some good lineups or some good lineup ideas. So we'll be doing this at the end of the video. This is also available for you. You can see the email address right there, SweetSpotDFS@gmail.com. Contact me. You got to be subscribed. You got to comment down below, and then email me letting me know you like the optimizer, and I'll send it your way. Or if you're here in the live video and you want me to build you a few lineups, I will do that as well, and then that way you don't even need the optimizer. I'll do it for you. Anyways, those are the giveaways that I'm providing. Let's go ahead and get in this thing. We're gonna start with the SweetSpot ranks. So if you are using the cheat sheet, I'm just gonna put that DraftKings filter on here, and I'm going to sort from top to bottom. Now, just to give you an idea of what goes into the SweetSpot ranks, I have, and this is also on the cheat sheet, by the way, column DH all the way to EA. These are basically all the point totals that are going into the SweetSpot ranks, the SweetSpot score. So I'm looking at OWGR. This is just to separate the best golfers from, the worst golfers, basically, because I want to still give more of an advantage to the top ranked golfers. Anyone who's lower ranked will most likely get a boost when we look at recent form stats as well as season long stats, and that will separate them from the true bottom of the field, basically. So I like using OWGR. Really, no one's getting a super huge boost over another golfer. It's just to provide a little bit of a buffer of, again, the better golfers in the field versus the, not as great golfers. I'm using grass stats. Now, I talked about this briefly in the preview video. I am looking at bent grass. And the reason being is this golf course is overseeded with a bunch of different grasses. And all in all, anytime I've ever listened to a broadcast, anytime I've ever heard any of the golfers talking about every characteristic they talk about on the greens, because that's primarily the biggest, that's the biggest factor that applies to grass is on the greens. The golfers spend half their time on the greens, so of course, grass there matters. Now, the rough of this golf course, all dormant Bermuda, so you're going to see that yellow grass. That really doesn't, there really aren't any characteristics of that. Just noticed something. I don't know why this is on here like this. I think this is just called last year, right? Or last week. Yeah, the dormant Bermuda, you don't have to worry about anything. It's a very thin grass, does not act anything like Bermuda, so no reason to really look at Bermuda stats. Now, the greens are overseeded with POA, ryegrass, as well as velvet bentgrass. Now, all of it together, anyone on the broadcast, any of the people walking the golf course talk about rye. It's rye. Rye acts a lot like bentgrass. when it comes down to it. Of all the major grass types, bent grass and rye is closest to bent, because you've got POA, you've got Bermuda, and those are really the top three: bent, POA, and Bermuda on the PGA Tour. You got C Paspalum with some of the other ones, but I wouldn't call that a major grass. Rye would be your fourth major grass, and that is closer to bent than any of the other strands. So that's why I include it. That is why we have bent grass here. So that is included into the model. There are no grass 2. You can see that the numbers are all the same for each golfer. So there's nothing sneaky happening here. No one's getting a boost over another. Just letting you know. I still include it here because it's really easy for me to update every single week. I don't feel like just removing it for whatever reason. It doesn't do anything. So anyways, moving on. I'm using tournament history, which is for this golf course, or this tournament course history. This is watered down by half, so the highest point total you're going to see in here is 50. I'm also looking at bogey avoidance, birdie or better, driving distance. For all of those that scrape stats from the PGA Tour website, how was that little update that they made? Pretty awful, right? For all of you out there that don't know, you could use like an Excel spreadsheet, like a Power Query is what it's called, where you can use Excel to scrape stats from a website, put it into whatever spreadsheet that you have, and it'll just automatically populate. Now they made that impossible. You can't do it. So instead, what you have to do is basically copy and paste it manually, and then find some method to update it. Unless you have the APIs to it, to create your spreadsheet, you would need permission from the PGA Tour site. So I think they kind of did that on purpose, which is whatever. You still can find a way around it. So I was able to at least get these 3 stats. And I won't lie, I got most of my stats yesterday. So everything that's populated in here, this all comes from the PGA Tour website. This is basically going to be impossible to do moving forward. So we'll see how it works, how it goes. But yeah, just so some of you guys know out there, this has turned into a nightmare to update. I'm just glad I did this yesterday and didn't have to worry about rushing to update everything today. So then we have recent form stats going on with the model. Recent form stats when it comes to DraftKings points, finishing position, as well as their round by round scoring. And then season long stats when it comes to DraftKings points, round by round scoring, rounds under 70%, cut made percentage, and DK top 10 percentage. So this is really where the scoring will come out of, the model, basically. I want to reward those that are doing well for us, at least in the short term, if not the whole year. Just giving them a little bit of a boost. And then this column here is if a golfer is out, they should get minus 1,000. Now I know there are some golfers here. I'm not sure where they're located. You don't see minus 1,000, but when it comes to the rankings, I have updated it properly. So I can just do that right now, so you guys can see it. I do believe that the cheat sheet has that updated. If not, you'll know. But also, the golfers over here, you can see that they're out. So don't play those golfers. They are in bright red, so you don't miss them. Now, when we look at the golfers ranked top to bottom, I have Rahm number 1 in my model. I won't lie, Rory should be up there, either number 1 or number 2, but because he doesn't have any season-long stats, because he hasn't played this calendar year on the PGA Tour, there are no stats. And those stats, they go into the ranking. So if he doesn't have any, really difficult to... I was kind of messing around with it because these are really the big 3. Everything else comes from me. I record strokes gained stats for the past year. The recent form stats, he's also going to be hurting. So if we just look across the board, he's not really getting a terrible, drop. 40 is kind of like if you're not playing, or if you haven't been playing and you're a top 100 golfer, that's kind of the the logic that I have behind here, you're just automatically gonna get 40 points. So he's not really getting hurt, but he's also not getting helped. I imagine if we included his DP World Tour starts, because he won at one of those desert courses, this would be 50, this would be 50, and I'm sure this would be close to 50 as well. And then driving distance, I think I added this, excuse me. I added this 90 just to give him kind of a realistic boost as to what it should be. I don't know if he'd really get a boost here. I'm sure birdie or better would be up there, and bogey avoidance would be up there. So if you look at his point total, he's at 1166. Well, hold on here. Maybe I need to rank this out again. So I don't understand why. Oh, I think I know what happened. Okay, so yeah. What's over here, I copied, here, I'll make the update back. So I think this was 80. Or maybe it was one less. Because I was messing around with these, that's why the score is higher. Everyone else is in order. You can see everyone else is in order. It's just, he would leapfrog Xander, and he would, I mean, he'd be really close to Scotty. What I'm getting at is, he should be higher, but because he doesn't have any season-long stats, that's why he's kind of behind. And his recent form stats aren't going to give him a bit of a boost. You know, we just talked about giving him, you know, like an additional 10 points here. And if that 30 points gets added, then he's number 2 in the model. So just keep that in mind. Oh yeah, Oren, is that who you're going to put in your league lineups with Chad? The Chad lineup or the league? Maybe I should also play Cam Young. No, I'm just kidding. I do like Cam Young this week though. He should be pretty good. So that goes into the scoring model, or the sweet spot model. Rory should be probably number 2, for being honest. But just so you know, he's number 5. And I know you just saw the point totals. That's with me messing around with the points. It's not like the actual model that I copy over from my, you know, auto sheet, if you want to call it that, my update sheet. He was number 5 in the model. But it doesn't really matter, because we're going to be locking in these golfers at the top, whether that we like them or not so much if we don't like them. But if we like them, we're going to be locking them in. And that's what we do at the end of this video, is do that. But I like to use these ranking points, or the rankings, to determine the Marquee Tee Times. So going into the Marquee Tee Times, I have these sorted by the best group down to the worst group. And the top 9 groups are what I consider the Marquee Tee Times. They're all in pairings of 3. And unlike last week, we actually have some really good pairings. I'm just gonna highlight them with every third, just so it makes it kind of easier on the screen. It doesn't really make it all that easy, but to me, it's visually pleasing when I do this. So your first group is Scotty Scheffler, Tom Kim, Victor Hovland. Now, I have a rule when it comes to Marquee Tee Times. Try not, I mean, it's not a set in stone rule, but don't play more than 1 golfer from a group. Stick to just 1. And then in these 9 groups, select anywhere between 2 to 4 golfers from them. So there's basically 2 rules. And I'll say them again. Don't select more than 1 golfer from a Marquee Tee Time, and select somewhere between 2 to 4. Last week it didn't really work out, but last week was weird. Like, I think you just throw everything out that whatever we learned with last week. If I said last year, I meant last week. Because with the weather and that being a pro-am, there's really nothing to gain from that. But if we look at like the last few weeks, the Marquee Tee Times have done pretty well. You know, we usually find 2 golfers in the Marquee Tee Times every single week, and they're not paired together, except for, what was it, the Farmers Insurance Open. I think there were 4 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times, and there were 2 golfers in each group. So it was something like this. It was like Max Homa and John Rahm in one group, and then it was like Sahith Theegala and Joel Damon in another. So it was 2 golfers from the same group, 2 golfers from the same group, 4 golfers in total for the Marquee Tee Times. Now, we also built a lineup following the sweet spot process, which includes the Marquee Tee Times as well as the buckets. It still took down a GPP had we played those golfers. So I think you still follow the rules. Don't select more than one guy from a group, and select somewhere between 2 to 4 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times. And if you didn't already know, I include this in the optimizer. So I've got group 1 through 9, and a max of 1 is selected. So if you do want the optimizer, all you would want to do is change this if you don't agree with it. And then I also down here show I want the optimizer to select at least 2 golfers in the Marquee Tee Times, but no more than 4. So that is also built into the optimizer. That's why I love this thing so much. But if we were talking about these groups, I mean, it's a star-studded field. A lot of the golfers are paired up together, and I think it's wonderful. I think if Byron from Back 9 Bets come in here, he's going to talk a lot about how anyone who plays with Jon Rahm just falters to some extent. I don't necessarily disagree. I don't know what the stats bear out, but I also have noticed that no one, or I should say anyone playing with Jon Rahm, doesn't quite find the top 10. And that's what we're trying to do, is get all 6 of our golfers inside the top 10. So I really like Rahm this week. I mean, I like Rahm and I like Rory. I don't know which one I'm going to start with, but I am going to start with one of those guys. And I don't care. I don't care about them being the top priced golfers in the field. I don't care how owned they're going to be. This is a perfect golf course for both of them. So I really don't know where I'm going to start. I'll let the optimizer kind of influence me to some extent, whether or not it likes Rahm lineups more than it likes Rory lineups. And then we'll see. I mean, we'll build with both of the guys, and really depending on you know, which lineup shows up or which lineups look way better than the others, I'll probably go with that guy. But of course, I'm going to be real with you. I'll be honest. I really won't know what I'm going to do until tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's when I sit down and I build lineups for myself. I did build some prior to jumping on, and I know which ones I like. My dummy lineup, by the way, follows the buckets without even me trying. Pretty happy about that. I'm going to use that dummy lineup in a bunch of my lineups. So, and that one started with Rory McIlroy. So we'll see. We'll see how it all goes. I do like Rahm though. So if I'm playing Rahm, I'm not playing Homa and I'm not playing Keegan Bradley. That's fine. I'm cool with that. I'll get burned. That's fine. We have to make decisions when building lineups. And when it comes to the bucket system and just the SweetSpot process, you want to select certain plays so that it limits you from building other lineups. And that limitation will give you the maximum potential for hitting the optimal lineup. So that's what I'm trying to do. And if I do go with Rahm, I'm not playing Homa or Bradley for multiple reasons. So I like that. Now, the first group was Scheffler, Tom Kim, and Victor Hovland. I really like those 3 golfers too. If I start with Rahm, a lot of my lineups start with Tom Kim, and you'll see that when we start building lineups. So I don't mind that. Not terrible. I don't care for Scheffler or Hovland. Like, I don't really have, I shouldn't say it that way. I do care about them. I think they're going to be great plays, but I don't necessarily have a lean one way or another. They're both great players, and if you want to play them, I think it's fine. Moving on from there, we have Cantlay, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Sam Burns. I like all 3 of these guys, and I couldn't tell you who I like more. You can see Patrick Cantlay actually has the 2nd best ranking in this field. Now, I did say Rory should be number 2. You know, if he had played, his stats would bear out that, you know, he's a better golfer than Cantlay, but he could be number 3, honestly. Like Rory could be, and Cantlay could still be number 2. Now, I didn't like how Cantlay's been playing the beginning of this year. I didn't like him at Tournament Champions. I didn't like how he played at the American Express. But we also found out he was playing with new clubs. Now, it does take a pro a little bit of time to get used to clubs in tournament conditions. But I think it's been enough time where I think he's probably figured it out. I think he's going to be fine. Unless he scrapped the clubs he was playing with the American Express and took up some new ones. If that was the case, I have to do some digging, because if that is the case, then I'll just completely ignore Patrick Cantlay this week. I don't like messing around with clubs. Like, you need that level of trust on the golf course. Remember when Tiger changed his golf clubs? I can't remember, like when he went from, actually it was Rory too, right? When Rory went from Titleist to Nike, like he just could not figure it out. So Cantlay went from Titleist, and I think the last time we heard he was rocking PXG irons. I don't know. But if he's still rocking the same clubs from the American Express, I have confidence in him. If not, I'm probably just out. But I don't mind going to Fitzpatrick, regardless of the neck injury. I think that's probably something else we need to think about, is if he does still have that nagging neck injury. Neck and back are the two worst, and elbow. Those three things are usually the worst in a golf swing. I should add wrist too. Like having wrist issues is like, just doesn't work out. Be cautious of that. Like look into it, see if he has any issues. Personally, at Tuesday night, I don't know anything about Matt Fitzpatrick, but I don't mind playing him, especially at $9,000. I think that's fine. And Sam Burns is just a stud. Like this is a golf course that should suit him well. I probably feel more comfortable with him playing on Bermuda golf courses, but he has a pretty good top 10 bent percentage. So his success rate, you can see right here, 17%. Actually really good overall bent and really good last year bent grass stats. So yeah, fire up all the Sam Burns that you want. I know Charlotte Cardin's going to be playing Burns quite a bit. If not 100%, what would it be, like 95%, 97%? Is there a moment? Is there a time you fade Burns by chance? Let me know. And I don't. Hey man, Homa he's also very consistent, really good play. I do like Homa. Moving on from that group, the Cantlay, Fitzpatrick, Burns group, to Xander, Tony, and Spieth. You heard during my preview video, I am full fading Spieth. He doesn't show up or he shows up in a bunch of buckets you don't want to play. Plus, I don't know what's going on with his golf swing. Like, it seems like he's being a little bit more methodical when it comes to his practice rehearsals. It just doesn't look good, doesn't feel good. Just watching him, nothing, and he can't put all 4 rounds together. So that's the other thing that I'm a little leery about. I don't want to play Spieth. Xander and Finau, now I'll just give a spoiler here. Xander is the #1 10K golfer that shows up in my model. If I do not lock anyone in, Xander always shows up, so does Tom Kim. So what the optimizer likes the most is a Xander start with Tom Kim. I don't mind that, and we'll build some lineups that look like that. I'll also let some of you guys build some lineups if you like Xander. We'll start that way, same with Tom Kim, and go from there. But yeah, this group's pretty fine. Pretty good. Next one is Rory, Collin Morikawa, and Hideki Matsuyama. I'm probably going to stay away from Hideki Matsuyama to some extent, but I really, really, really like Collin Morikawa, and I really, really, really like Rory McIlroy. Now, if I go Rory, I'm not pairing him with Morikawa. I might in one lineup out of 100. I might. But rules are rules. Don't play more than one guy from the same Marquee Tee Time. Again, we've seen that mold be broken before. That's why I will play 1 out of 100, but outside of that, I'm not putting any what am I trying to think? What's the word I'm looking for? No conviction. Like, I have no conviction in putting those two guys together. So it's either Rory or it's Collin Morikawa. So if I do go and start with Rahm, I have no issue coming down and playing Collin Morikawa to go with him. And if I go to Rory McIlroy, I could go up to like a Max Homa shot like hard, and I could do something like that. So a Rory Homa lineup wouldn't be terrible. And it's almost like the same pricing between the two. So if you went Rory at 10.8 and played Homa, yeah, it is at 9.9. That's the same price that it is for Collin Morikawa and Jon Rahm. I think we just solved the puzzle. We got to figure that out. I would never not play Burns. I also bet him outright in every tournament out of FOMO. Yeah, that sounds about right. And I'm glad with your consistency. Your fandom is right on point. I normally bet Max and Scotty outright too. Had a monster year last year betting those 3. Yeah. With those names that you just said, yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, those are great golfers. I have no issue playing any of them in DFS. You have to make stands, right? And if I want to maximize my potential of hitting the optimal lineup, I need to anchor around 2 to 4 golfers. So I just go with kind of my gut and what I think is the best fit on this golf course. To me, I just think it's Rahm and McIlroy. Like, they are A+, and then it goes down to an A tier. Like, they're by themselves, in my opinion. Just when it goes to fit. Now, golf is golf. There are going to be things that happen. You know, there will be weather splits from time to time. There will be bad breaks from time to time. Those can affect McIlroy and Rahm like they affect anyone else, any other golfer. But when it comes to if everything is on point, those two are they're the top end of this tournament, especially with a firm and fast golf course. They're so good on firm and fast golf courses. I can't see, like, when I look at all of these golfers in the Marquee Tee Times, there are only 2 people I see. I don't see any of the other guys. I obviously look and go, okay, well, who am I going to pair those guys up with and try to figure it out from here? But it is Rahm or Rory for me. I'm cool with going down in that ship. No issues whatsoever. So moving on from there, our next one is Justin Thomas, Seth Theegala, and Joel Dahmen. I think this is a fun group. I think they're going to have a lot of fun and like a fun time together. That is something that interests me, is when you can look at 3 names and you can just imagine those guys having fun on a golf course. That makes the round that much easier. The grind of making pars becomes more beneficial and more rewarding, especially when you have like Dahmen and JT together. Now, they're not like best friends, but their personalities match. So that's something that I would look into when building lineups. Like, maybe I'll just put a bunch of Joel Dahmen in my Rory, Max Homa lineups, or my Rahm Morikawa lineups. Like, I would probably, you know, have no issue playing him with those guys. He doesn't rate out very well in my model, but that's fine. He's $7,100. Like, that's totally fine. So that's kind of something that I'm looking into. And Seth Theegala just, I feel like, fits in with those other 2 golfers. I think it's going to be a fun group, and I wouldn't be surprised. Like, if you want to hit showdowns, I would probably target that lineup, or that tee time, that Marquee Tee Time, and play 2 or 3 of those guys either of those days, Thursday or Friday, because I think they're going to draft off each other if they're playing well. Like, if one of them's playing well, I think they all play well. The next group is Taylor Montgomery, Keith Mitchell, and Sam Ryder. Really like Taylor Montgomery this week. I'm going to like Taylor Montgomery basically for the entire season. I think the guy, if there's one criticism I have from him, is I really just don't like his iron swing. His iron swing looks really gross. I don't know how, if that, or I should say, I don't know if that can be consistent. He's obviously on tour, so it's consistent enough, but it looks shaky. And my buddy Byron from Back 9 Bets, he does not like his ability to close out a tournament, which, whatever. For all people out there that you know, especially for outright bets, because he's more of a betting guy, that's great. $8,300 Taylor Montgomery sounds like a wonderful DFS play. He's going to go for greens on par 5s. He's going to set himself up for eagles. He's going to set himself up for birdies on those. I think Montgomery is a perfect play. Keith Mitchell at $7,400 seems like a steal. I think you guys out there probably know way more than I would. Keith Mitchell's probably going to be really high owned. And in the 7K range, like, if there was ever a moment to pivot, it'd be that. Because you don't want to play a chalky 7K guy. They're 7K for a reason. I don't think this is a course that is perfect for someone like Keith Mitchell. I thought last week Keith Mitchell was a good play. He and Justin Rose were in a bunch of my lineups, but then I paired him up with Jordan Spieth. So I didn't win any money last week because I was all in on Jordan Spieth, but when I went from a 10K golfer down to a 9, Justin Rose was 9,500. Keith Mitchell was 91 or 9,200. It fit perfect. And when I was building lineups that way, there was just something about Mitchell at Pebble Beach that just seemed right. You know, Pro-Am, he's like one of those bougie golfers. So it just fits in with him. So that's why I kind of liked it. I don't know about this week. I don't have an issue against Keith Mitchell. I'll play him, but I don't feel as comfortable this week as I did last week. Let's put it that way. And he's a cheaper, way cheaper, $1,700 cheaper than he was last week. So I just like Montgomery the most. And if I'm playing Montgomery, I'm not playing Mitchell. And Sam Ryder's whatever, 6,800. He had a hole in one here on hole 16, what, last year or 2 years ago. I think that's good vibes for him, and he just has comfortability. He matches Keith Mitchell's appearance. I mean, shoot, if we want to talk about like an all apparel team, or what would we want to call it? I mean, those two are going to be shopping on Rodeo Drive, right? They're those are those types of guys. So maybe that's a synergy. Maybe it's not. I don't care. Like, I don't care. I would rather play Taylor Montgomery. So anyways, moving on. The other two actually are just kind of honorable mentions. I always include an 8th and a 9th group just because the optimizer allows me to. So I do include it, but I don't feel super confident in it. However, Russell Henley, Seamus Power, Ricky Fowler, what a group that is. Like, and they're all closely ranked in my model. I think Ricky is due for a win. And I know everyone's been talking about it, whether it's past PGA Tour pros, whether it's coaches, whether it's analysts that are close to his team, yada, yada, yada. $8,000 Ricky Fowler. I don't know. I don't imagine him being like super high owned, but man, we'll let I'll show you some things with the buckets when it comes to building lineups. You can see that there are these strokes gain 5s. It's not a really good bucket to be in. That's negative off the tee, negative putting. It's kind of terrible, if we're being honest. Now, I think that has a lot to do, because those are season-long stats. That has a lot to do with Ricky kind of changing his golf swing and, you know, trying to work his way back to a more sustainable golf swing and a more sustainable just strategy on the golf course, if we want to call it that. I'm losing words as I'm talking, so my apologies, but I do like Ricky Fowler, and Seamus Power is a stud. Like, $7,600 Seamus Power, I would play him if he was $9,000 in this field. I have no issue playing Seamus Power. I will say this. I guess if I go to the grass stats, will it tell me any different? Oh no, look at the grass stats for these guys. Like, they all have very high top 10 bent success rates. So that's pretty good. Their overall bent grass. I mean, Ricky over his whole career has excelled. Maybe not so much in the last year, but of course that has a lot to do with changing golf swings, you know, life issues, stuff like that. So I like that. Why don't we just keep the grass stats right here? And then our last group is, oh, by the way, Russell Henley is no slouch. So I don't mind playing Russell Henley, especially at $7,400. The last group would be Shane Lowry, Brendan Todd, and Garrett Kigo. I really got nothing here. I like Todd. Todd shows up a bunch when I was building lineups earlier today. I'm probably staying away from Lowry, and I don't care. Like, Lowry's not a fun golfer for me to watch. He's not a fun golfer for me to play. I have like, if we were to be like non-biased and biased on either side of that non-biased middle point, I'm probably on the biased side of not liking him, of not wanting to play him. So that probably goes into my thought process when it comes to Shane Lowry. He is 15th in my model, so that probably plays out. You know, he probably is decent to play. I don't know. He's okay on bent grass. Course history is fine. I just don't care. Like, I'm very apathetic towards Shane Lowry. Don't really care. So anyways, those are your marquee tee times. So we're going to start with 2 to 4 golfers from here. This is where I would want to anchor my lineup. So when you do have some lineup considerations, just start here, throw them in the chat, and we'll build lineups around them. That way we can follow the sweet spot process pretty easily. We are going to move on to the anchor buckets. So if you're following along with me, again, cheat sheet is in the description below. You'll want to go there. Let me throw it on the screen. Cheat sheet is right here. Go to that file menu, make a copy. That way you can use the filter that is provided in the cheat sheet, and you can follow along with me. Because what I want you to do, if you are following along, is first one, go to the max projection tab here, go to that filter by condition, and we're going to go greater than or equal to 2. Basically, greater than or equal to 2 ensures that the minimum is at least 1. And when this is at least 1, that tells us we want to play at least 1. That's what makes it an anchor bucket. Now, the other thing I want you to do is go to the bucket total piece here, and we're going to grab anything less than 30. So what I want you to do is less than or equal to 30 here in the conditions there. And this will give us our anchor buckets. Now, some of these are probably easier to choose than others. When there are 9 golfers in a bucket and we need to select at least 1, that makes choosing a little easier. When there are 27 golfers in one bucket, that makes it a little bit more difficult. And quite honestly, when we see something this large, we'll cover it, but we won't talk a lot about it. Let's start with the first anchor bucket. Those are your last year ones. Oh, and by the way, again, this is all included in the optimizer. So I have all of the anchors set right here. All the minimums are already set based off of what you see right here. Well, of course, we filtered out large totals of golfers and buckets, but outside of that, these smaller volume buckets, these are easier to pinpoint golfers from. So last year one, that's what we're starting with. If you are also using the filter on the DraftKings page, I'm just going to start from salaries top to bottom. Makes it easier when talking about this. I'm also going to filter out the out golfers. I'm going to scroll down here and remove them. Last year ones, the first anchor bucket. We've got John Rahm, Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, Max Homa, JT, Cantlay. We got a lot of really good golfers here. Pretty easy to determine. This is going to be a bucket that'll produce at least one top 10. And that's what those projections are. If you didn't already know, I explained that in the preview. Projections are just from that bucket, how many golfers do I project to be inside the top 10? It's not so much saying which golfers they are that will finish top 10. It's just like, okay, we've got how many golfers here? 17. I'm projecting somewhere between 1 to 3 of the following golfers to be inside the top 10. Now, some of you might be like, well, yeah, that's not difficult to do when you've got, you know, these 8 golfers right here. Well, 1 to 3 is also telling you don't select more than 3. Just select somewhere between 1 to 3. And if I was, again, starting, it's John Rahm for me. Now, I also talked about how much I like Cantlay. So I could pair up Rahm and Cantlay. We already talked about this. I could pair up these two golfers together, and that would satisfy the projections. So I don't really have to select any more from that. I certainly can. I could come down here and grab Chris Kirk, no problem. Or Keith Mitchell, we were just talking about him. And that would grab 3 of my Marquee Tee Times as well. Totally plausible. And good choice. But anyways, choose 1 to 3 golfers from here. So again, if you want to build some lineups here at the end of the video, let me know and we can put those together. Moving on though. Going to course history ones. Again, we want 1 to 3. Oh, by the way, I messed that up. Last year ones are actually 2 to 4. You want 2 to 4. So I've selected my 2 when it comes to Rahm, Cantlay. So there are 2 right there, but we could go to Kirk. I'm going to revise that a little bit. I always say this every single week where I'm like, you need to pick 2 to 4. Again, it's a projection to be inside the top 10. We could literally have these 4 golfers be inside the top 10, and you can't roster more than 2 of them, and you probably can only roster 1 of them. So, or we could have like a Rahm and a Schauffele finishing inside the top 10 with a Cantlay. And you can't put those 3 guys together. You can only put 2. So keep that in mind as well. Again, it's a projection of being inside the top 10. I always gotta watch what I'm saying. Moving on to course history ones. 1 to 3 is what we want to select. So again, if you're following along, select the last year filter and just select all. That way we bring everyone back in, and now we remove all of them except for course history ones, I think, right? Yeah. So we want 1 to 3, and guess what? There's Rahm. And there's Rory. So we've already talked about Rahm in 1 anchor bucket. We've already talked about Xander. We've already talked about Patrick Cantlay. In fact, all of them here with the last year ones, Hideki Matsuyama, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Sahith Theegala. These are all golfers we've already talked about. I didn't really so much talk about Fitzpatrick or Theegala. The only thing I'm going to say with this is we are projecting 1 to 10 to be inside the top 10 from this bucket, or 1 to 3. Did I say 1 to 10? 1 to 3 inside the top 10. Just because a golfer is in multiple anchor buckets doesn't ensure the success that he'll be in the top 10. It just increases his odds and increases his chances. Not because he's in the buckets, but the fact he keeps showing up just shows us, hey, these performance trends are really good coming into this tournament, and he matches all of them. So again, another good reason why I really like Jon Rahm, why I really like Rory McIlroy, and why the optimizer kept showing me Xander Schauffele. Again, I'll show you that when we build lineups. But 1 to 3, you could easily pick 2. Hard to pick 3 because of how pricey these golfers are. But yeah, if you want to start with 2, again, Cantlay and Rahm seem like a no-brainer, or even Rory and Cantlay. That's what I started my dummy lineups with. And a solid lineup. Solid. Moving on. Going from course history 1 to course history 2. So in this one, all you got to do, hit that course history filter, deselect 1, and then select 2. And we want 1 to 3, I believe. Correct. Now we have Scheffler, who we've already talked about, Homa, JT. They're all in the last year 1 buckets. We didn't talk about Alex Noren, but whoa. Yeah, we didn't talk about Alex Noren, but he was there, as was Billy Horschel in that last year 1, and Martin Laird. We don't need to talk about those guys, in my honest opinion. But Scheffler, Homa, and Thomas, this just kind of goes along with Shot Like Harden, what we were talking, or what you were saying with Homa doing well. I don't mind the guy. Like, I think his golf swing, his demeanor is perfect for golf course tournaments. So even a rowdy place like this, I think Max Homa is a wonderful play. And I would choose him over Justin Thomas 9 times out of 10. Just my feelings on it. JT, I'll say what I said during the Tournament of Champions. I said this when I was talking to Byron. I can't remember. Maybe it was for the Farmers Insurance Open, where I was like, if JT doesn't see a shot shape that he needs to hit, and you give him options, it's just like Bubba Watson, where his head just goes like, well, I guess I just hit it as hard as I need to, or I hit it as hard as I can. And when that happens, he's very erratic off the tee. I don't like that here. I think there's a little bit more forgiveness than what everyone's saying, but I would rather just avoid Justin Thomas like the plague. I'm certainly not going to anchor around him. If you guys want to, by all means, go ahead, but I'm just not going to. So for me, like, Scheffler and Homa seems like great starting points for another anchor plays. There's my guy Collin Morikawa, who I was talking about earlier on with the SweetSpot ranks. I like Morikawa. Cam Young, that is what? Oren, that is what that's the guy you're on. So it's the first time we've seen him in the anchor buckets. He is 9th in the SweetSpot model, by the way, which I didn't even talk about. I didn't even talk about the players from top to bottom. Oh well. And then it goes down to Shane Lowry, which I don't care. And the rest of the guys, I'm not even going to really talk about. But if you find someone here that you're like, I want to anchor around, by all means, go for it. I think that's wonderful. Especially if I start with like Rory or Rahm, which you don't see them here. And same with Cantlay. Then grabbing one of these guys is kind of what I should be looking for. And Corey Connors does show up a bunch in my models, which I'm not sure I like all that much, but I also don't mind it either. So, anywho, moving on. Let's go to the next one. We go from the course history buckets to the recent form 1 and 2 buckets, 1 to 3 in each of these. So again, once you're in the cheat sheet, select all in the course history buckets, and then just clear when you're in the recent form buckets. We'll go to recent form 1. We want 1 to 3. Well, we see Jon Rahm. We were just talking about Scheffler. Kind of the first time we see Finau, because he was in the last year 5 and a course history 4 bucket. So it's the first time seeing Finau. I can full fade Finau this week and be just fine with that. Homa shows up. We have Morikawa once again. Victor, who we really haven't talked about except for during the rankings, and also the Marquee Tee Times. That's all right. Was I just talking about Cam Young? Was that the course history 1 bucket or course history 2 bucket? Must have been, right? Yeah. Okay. Almost was going crazy. I'm like, what? I just mentioned Cam Young. I don't understand why I'm talking about him again, but there he is. Taylor Montgomery. Good to see him. He has never played this tournament, by the way. He didn't play last week, and that means he also has no course history. No course history, didn't play last year. That's why he's in these 6 buckets. It's not a terrible thing. It's not as bad as one person would think. So it makes me like Montgomery a little bit more. Then we have Day, Siwoo Kim. I know most of you guys, like Shot Like Harden, you know I talk about fading Jason Day like 100% of the time. When I was making my dummy lineup, I had one golfer left and I had $8,200 left. And I was like, or $8,300 left. I was like, gosh, Jason Day looks really good. And I won't lie, my insides just turned into fire. Like I just was like, okay, yep. I don't know why I just said that. Moving on. I selected some guy in the 8K range because I'm not going to pick Jason Day. Just won't happen. I will play him some. Don't get me wrong. Like I will just set my exposures to him like 10%, something like that. But I am not going out of my way to select Jason Day. So although he's in an anchor bucket, he won't be an anchor play of mine. Siwoo Kim, I also thought about maybe selecting him with the $8,300 I had left because I like Siwoo at this course. I like the idea of playing Siwoo. I like the volatility that comes with him. I don't mind that. But $100 cheaper and 20 points better in the model is Corey Connors. So Corey Connors seems pretty good. Chris Kirk is the first golfer. Well, the first lineup I build with the optimizer has Chris Kirk in it. I don't mind playing him. I also don't mind playing JT Poston. They're rated out really well in my model and they're low 7K golfers. Yeah, I don't mind. Remember, we want to select somewhere between 1 to 3. So like if I went with Rahm and say I wanted Montgomery and one of these guys in my lineup, it kind of shows me that I would need like a Cantlay because Cantlay isn't showing here. And it would be hard to go with Colin Morikawa, or what I could do is go Rahm, Morikawa, Montgomery. It doesn't leave me with a lot of money to build with the last 3 guys, but that's fine. I like to start 10, 9, 8. Most of you guys already know that, and go from there. But it's really hard to pass up the value with some of these golfers down here. I think there's super, super great value plays here. Moving on to the recent form 2s. Remember, we also want 1 to 3 from this bucket. And there we go. We got Xander here. JT, we've already decided to full fade. Patrick Cantlay, I like. And by the way, when I say full fade, understand, for me, that means not playing them more than, say, 10%. So I will play less than 10 and realistically, probably less than 5. But a full fade doesn't mean absolutely not playing them at all. I won't be anchoring around Justin Thomas. So maybe when I build certain lineups, it'll work out. But for the most part, when it comes to anchor plays, if I am anchoring around a 10 and a 9K golfer and it's not JT, it's pretty difficult for me to get to JT. I do reserve like somewhere between 5 to 10% of my lineups to just be random golfers, or just random builds, I should say, where I'm not anchoring around anybody. That's where JT could probably fit in that model. So that's how I'd get to JT. Otherwise, and also what I was saying is like I don't fully fade everyone that I say that I do, but just throwing that out there. I really like Cantlay, Matsuyama. I like Im. I like Kim. I like Burns. 1 to 3 from this bucket. I'm sure Shot Like Harden, this is going to be difficult for you because I see a couple names that I already know you like. But maybe it helps you limit your exposure to some of these guys. Sorry, there's a hair just tickling my eyeball. My apologies. The rest of the group, I don't mind whatsoever. Like, we've got Thigala, Fowler. I don't mind Tom Hoge here. I'm not trying to play him. We've already talked about Keith Mitchell. We talked about Russell Henley. Brendan Steele, I don't mind playing at a golf course like this. Brendan Todd, we could fire him up again. He did well last week. $7,100. I like that. I like Hadwin. And like, I don't mind any of these guys, honestly. So I'm just not anchoring around them. I'll keep the optimizer open to select them. But if I was to anchor around any of these guys, I mean, it's Cantlay. It works out so well to go with Cantlay and Rahm or Rory. Just fits well. And then we could drop down to one of these guys down here. And by down here, I mean like down here. Or go into the 8K range, and then we can have access to Burns, Thigala, and Ricky that way. So, super interesting. What, Charlie Carden, who do you like out of this group? Like, who are your top 3? While you let me know there, I'm gonna go and see what the next one is. We're not gonna talk about the salary ranges when it comes to the anchor buckets. I already know I want to start with a 10 and a 9K golfer. So, and we already know who those golfers are. We don't need to look into the anchors there. Strokes gain stats. So strokes gain 1, I'm projecting 3 to 5 golfers to finish inside the top 10. We're going to have a lot of high price golfers. We can see 11 of them are 9K and above. So I still think maybe selecting 2, if not 3 of them is probably the smart choice to do. In fact, that's what I did on the optimizer. I went 2 to 6. So I'm going to allow the optimizer to select anywhere between 2 to 6 golfers from this bucket. I think it's the smart thing to do. It's because, again, it's going to be a lot of high price guys. So if you're following along on the optimizer or on the cheat sheet, make sure you go in that recent form bucket, select all, hit OK, and then we're going to filter out in strokes gain 1. So as we look at this, like I said, a lot of high price golfers. We had 11 that are 9K and above, led by Rahm, Rory, Scotty, a bunch of good golfers, right? So just the group that I selected here, we could find 3, 4, maybe even 5 golfers that finish inside the top 10 right here. So we really only need to select 2 at a, I wouldn't say at a minimum, but 2 start there, and maybe we can fit in 3, especially if you like any of the guys down here. Like, I like Kurt Kitayama this week. I like JT Poston. I don't mind Chris Kirk. I also don't mind the 6K golfers that are down here. Ooh, Burns, Thigala, Fowler. Okay. Oh, your 3 favorite values are Kitayama, Ryder, and Damon? Yeah, absolutely. And then Burns, Thigala, Fowler. Are they paired up together? I forget who was in that Fowler group. I've already forgot my Marquee Tee Times. But anyways, this is, I mean, they're a bunch of studs. Strokes gain 1. This bucket means all strokes gain stats are positive over the last full year. So we go 365 days back from this day, or 364 days back from this day, and we look at all the strokes gain stats. Every single stat category is positive for the following golfers. Most of these, you just no-brainers, right? Some of them are interesting, right? Fleetwood, Jason Day, maybe Keegan Bradley is I think that actually is a surprise because he's so bad with his putting. He's usually a strokes gain 3, which means negative putting and positive off the tee. And it doesn't really matter what stats in between, but interesting there. Kirk has always been a 3. Poston's always been a 4, strokes gain 4, from memory. I think Kurt Kitayama last week was a 3, if I remember correctly. Maybe he was a 1, but he was a 3 earlier this year. So he obviously is putting a lot, or I should say much better than he has been in the past. Yeah, some of these guys, interesting to see. But yeah, 3 to 6, or really 2 to 6 is what I'm projecting to be inside the top 10. Just being really conservative with my projection. 3 to 5 is technically the actual projection, but since they're even numbers, I mean, that's the most interesting part, is it's literally 3 on the button. I would say you always round down. Well, you don't round down from 3. Let's see, is it 2? Oh no, it's above 3 actually if I move the decimal place over. So it is actually 3. And is it actually 4? It's over 5. Or I shouldn't say actually 4. It's yeah. So this actually gets rounded up to 6. So 3 to 6, that would be correct, because if this was just a flat 5, which it isn't, like if I open the decimal place, you can see there are numbers. Then if it was a flat 5, we'd just stay at 5, but it is over, so we'd go to 6. 3 to 6 is the actual projection. Now, a more conservative projection is 4.04. That's your max, but we round that up to 5. So I guess what I could say 2 to 5 is the best way to go, but I put in the optimizer 2 to 6 because it is the most conservative thing to do. And really it's too hard to determine out of that group who are going to finish inside the top 10. Those are your anchor buckets though. I've got no other segments to talk about. We're an hour in. We're gonna start building some lineups. So get your lineup combos ready. And also let me know, do you want me to use the top 100 optimizer, or do you just want me to use the optimizer that includes every golfer in the field? So top 100 is the top 100 SweetSpot ranked golfers. And the other one is the full field. So you let me know. And if you're not sure who's in the top 100, look at that cheat sheet. Again, link in the description. Click that link, go to make a copy. That way you can access the filter that's on here. Hit that filter and rank A to Z on the SweetSpot ranks. You can see who's all the way down at number 100. It is Mr. Zach Johnson. I've kicked him out of the lineups. I don't want Zach in the top 100 optimizer, so he's out. But if you want Zach Johnson in your, like, the possibility of him being selected, or Francesco Molinari, or Dylan Fratelli, or Danny Lee, or Adam Long, any of those guys, let me know. We'll use the full optimizer, not just the top 100. But when I'm building lineups, I'm only going to be selecting the top 100. So again, you let me know. I can see Joanne wants to start with a few golfers, so we'll go with that. We'll start there. And I'm going to use the top 100. Joanne, if you don't want me to, you let me know. I will select something else. I'm also going to put on some music. I got copyrighted, or whatever you want, whatever the verb is, when I played this last time, but not too worried about it this time. It doesn't matter. I don't have enough viewers to monetize off this anyways. So play some music. Get in, get the vibes up when we're building lineups. I have no idea what any of this music's going to sound like because it is royalty free on YouTube. That's the funny thing about the last video I did that was copywritten. I was on the copyright free playlist, so I don't understand why I got copywritten. Anyways, the lineup you see on the screen is my dummy lineup. I said Rory was the start. I lied. Actually, no, I didn't lie. Let me bring it up. That is loud. Forget what my dummy lineup was. Yeah, so it was Rory, Patrick Cantlay, Montgomery, Pendrith. Okay. Can we actually do that? So this is what I like to do with my optimizer. Whatever my dummy lineup was, I just go lock in all out of the golfers. And I want to see if the optimizer selects it just naturally. Like I'll select like 4 or 5 of them and just see if it will select them. Let me know if the music's too loud, by the way. If it's blasting your eardrums, let me know. And Montgomery. So I want Montgomery. I'm gonna lock in those 4, and I want to see if it'll select the other 2. One of them being JT Post and the other one being Taylor Pendrith. JT Poston and Brian Harmon. I don't mind that, but I also don't care for it. So I'm gonna remove Harmon and just see if it'll get to Taylor Pendrith some way or another. 1049, where are you, buddy? Okay, cool. Thank you for the confirmation. So Chris Kirk gets included. I don't mind Chris Kirk. I also don't like when 2 price tags are the same. That is a superstition thing. There's no science behind that. 1015. I like I said, I'm trying to see if it'll pick JT Post and Taylor Pendrith just naturally. Hadwin and Norin, I'm just gonna deselect those guys right away. And the only reason that I'm not doing, over time, if it doesn't select, I'm gonna see why and see if the buckets just don't match up. That's probably why I wouldn't get to Taylor Pendrith, but we'll see. I'll give it a couple more tries, and if it doesn't, then I'll force it to. See, I don't mind. Hey, I don't mind this lineup. This wasn't my dummy lineup, but Hoagie and Todd, yeah, you could sign me up all day with those golfers. $969. Where in the heck is that? That doesn't seem right. Like I didn't here's Brennan Todd. I'm just gonna say no. Where the heck? Oh, there's Hoagie. Yeah, 969 is below 966 somehow. I'm wondering if he was a higher rank. I probably know why. Oh, I X'd out Jason Day on accident, but I don't think that was really an accident. Come on, choose Pendrith. Okay, now we're going to force him in. That's Connors and Kazire. I don't mind. Could be worse. All right, let's see. Does it break when we put Taylor Pendrith in? It does not, but it puts in Laird instead. Okay, so now we're going to force JT Poston in there. I might have just accidentally thought this was the right lineup. I saved it. I thought it was a good one. Basically, what I'm going to do is look to see where the anchor issue is, and right away, it's last year one. This is what the bucket or the optimizer chooses. So it only chose one golfer from this bucket when I'm asking it to select at least two. So right away, that's one of the issues. Basically, what I'm gonna do with the rest of this is just look at the mins and just see what the bucket chose outside of the mins to see if it didn't satisfy some of these requirements. So it's just really the last year one bucket. I do also kind of feel like if I was to, I'd want it to select 3 PM golfers. I like the PM AM wave just naturally. And so what I would do is I'd probably max the AM at 3. So I suppose I don't have to do that. I can just keep it like this and max this at 4. I don't like doing one wave over another, and I also don't think we're getting a lot of weather. But that being said, if I'm already selecting 5 AM golfers, going a Cantlay McIlroy route might not, and Montgomery might not just be the play for me. Anyways, I wanted to see if that was going to work out. I'm sorry for wasting your time, but I was being selfish. Okay. The best lineup I've had Keegan and Burns at 7,900 last year, Valspar, or year before, same price. So you're saying there's like good vibes with that or something? Is that what you're trying to get at? Let's see. We are going to go with Joanne. Morikawa, Tom Kim start. Is that what we want, Joanne? Is that what I'm reading? Morikawa, Tom Kim, or Finau Morikawa, good start? Okay. Let's go. So I have the optimizer making sure we select a 10K. I'm going to have to remove that in order to do Tom Kim and Morikawa since they're both 9K golfers. But that's fine. Let's see what the optimizer will select without going with a 10K golfer. I'm gonna build like 5, somewhere between 5 to 10, just depending on the lineups that we keep seeing. If you want me to change it, Joanne, let me know. We have Patrick Cantlay, Tom Kim, Collin Morikawa, Brian Harmon, JT Poston, and Scott Stallings. So we'll cross out that 6K and try again. Charlie Carden, what are you talking about? My highest optimal. Are we talking about? I don't know. Let me know what you're asking with that question. Are you asking me what the highest optimal I've seen all year, or are you asking what my highest like the best lineup I've ever had this year? Let me know what you mean. Tom Kim, Morikawa, Lowry, Brian Harmon, Theegala, Hadwin. So I won't lie, I want to save this lineup because I hate it. And I only hate it because I don't want Lowry in my lineups, and it just seems too simple. But simple can win. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it. What I like to do is I'm going to build a lineup I like, but I'm not quite sure what I want to do with it. I just like to save it over in my ownership tab, back to the optimizer, and then delete it. And then rebuild. Oh, I know what you're asking, Shot Like Harden. You're asking the lineup that I was trying to put in there, was that the highest that I've seen this week? It isn't. I think that's what you're asking, and no, it isn't. Ooh, here's an interesting one. Again, I don't care for two price tags being together, but that's also just a superstition. Again, no science is behind that, but Thompson, this seems like a pretty solid lineup to build. Okay, so I'm gonna separate this because I don't want to see this. JT Poston, Chris Kirk. Hey, Shot Like Harden, sometimes it just takes a little while. It's funny, I did a podcast with Byron from Back Nine Bets, and I had re-listened to our podcast, and I told him something. I'm like, oh man, I said this, and I literally didn't even mean to say whatever it was. I don't remember off the top of my head right now. He goes, hey, no worries, mate. Like, sometimes I black out when I podcast, and I laughed because it's like sometimes you do, because I'm trying not to sit here and think. Like, I'm just trying to talk. So I'm trying to engage as quick as I possibly can, still be somewhat entertaining, and you know, provide a purpose with my podcasting. And sometimes you just don't have enough time to think. So I got there. I finally got there. I am going to cross out, which one should I'm going to do Chris Kirk. Joanne, you let me know. If you like Chris Kirk, I'll put Chris Kirk back in. I just want to see a little bit more diversity with the lineup building. This is a great lineup. So the 3 9Ks to go with Brian Harmon, JT Poston, and Davis Riley, I think is a solid lineup build. Because I don't think Davis Riley deserves really to be in the 6K range. I think he's just like a forever 7K until he finally breaks out. But here you go. Replacing him with Emiliano Grillo. That's also a great lineup. I'll build like 1 or 2 more. Putnam. Okay. He burned a lot of people last week. I think this is a good time to go to Putnam. And it just completely changed. I like when that happens. And I like this lineup a lot. We're saving this lineup. Okay, so you want me to lock in Damon and Kitayama with Tom Kim and Colin Morikawa? I can certainly do that. So where are these golfers? Damon and Kitayama. Is Damon $7,100? Let's do the fine. Lock him in, and also lock in Kitayama. I'll also build some lineups with Damon and Kitayama without Tom Kim and Morikawa locked in, just to show you like what 10K, 9K guys that they pair up with well. But this is a pretty good lineup. Harmon, so it selects the same 4 core, which solid plays, and then adds Damon and Kitayama. Oh, it's going to do the same thing because I need to lock out one of these guys. So 1049, take out Harmon. Norin, don't care for Norin. included Hoagie here. That's pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna get rid of some of these. We'll keep Damon and Kitayama locked and see what it selects. I didn't select a 10K as a lock, so we'll see if it actually does. Be funny if it just goes the same as before. Okay, there we go. Oren's gonna like this lineup because it has Cam Young in it, but we go Schauffele, Cantlay, Young, Brian Harman, Damon, and Kitayama. So Harman likes to show up with these two guys. I really like Kitayama this week. They were talking a lot about his bombing ability at Pebble. This just seems like it would fit. You know, this golf course would fit his type of game. Let's cross out Harman. By the way, if you don't want me to show Xander or Cantlay, let me know and I'll lock those guys out. This one included Corey Connors and Shane Lowry. And oh, it brought in Scotty Scheffler. That's what I like about the optimizer is just changing one golfer really changes the dynamics of building lineups. I'm gonna cross out Lowry unless you want him in your lineup. You let me know. Don't really care for that. By the way, Joanne, I'll get back to the other two. Your Finau Morikawa. I'll do those lineups. Patrick, Xander, Tom Kim. So we're actually including 2 9Ks to go with a 10 and then 3 7s. Seems like a really good optimal lineup build. We've seen 3 7Ks in the optimal lineup at this tournament a few times. Or maybe not so much a few times, but at least once. So I'm stealing that one, man. Oh, I gotta block out. Wait, did this just build a new one? No. I will lock out Poston. By the way, I think I know why the scoring is slightly out of whack. The cheat sheet is actually updated past what my sheet is, and I think I first copied the cheat sheet over and then I copied my metrics over, so it's like it's weird for some reason. It really doesn't matter. But ooh, here's a good one. Xander, Cantlay, Cam Young, Kirk, Damon, Kitayama. That's a really good lineup. I am stealing that one as well. Shot Like Harden, are you also Irish, by the way? Is that why you like Shano Lowry? Wanted to call him Shano Mac. I like posting this week too. I love most of the 7K. Okay. Yeah, 7K looks pretty solid, especially when it's that strong of a field. We've seen a lot of these guys in the 8K range, the 9K range in past tournaments. So to see them in the 7K range, like, this is automatic value. Probably have to be careful with that. But was this the lineup we just saw? I can't remember if it was Connors that was in there or not. Let's go ahead and remove him and see if your man Shane Lowry's in there in the next one. He is not. Goes back to Cam Young. So let's take out Chris Kirk. Okay. Good to know. Now I know how to rib you every once in a while. I'm sure just like my Norwegian ancestors did way back in the day. This ain't bad. I don't care again to have the same priced guys, but solid lineup. All right, man. You give me some other lineups to think about building, and I will lock in those guys for you. I'm gonna go to Joanne's. We're gonna go with Finau Morikawa. Whoa, way different build. God, again, that's why I like the optimizer. Finau, Sungjae, Colin Morikawa, Harman, Kirk, and Hubbard. Wow. All right, I'm saving that one, Joanne. You and I can win all the monies with that lineup. That's such a unique lineup. Another good lineup. You might be onto something here, Joanne. These are my random lineups. I did this a couple weeks ago and did pretty well at the Farmers Insurance Open, where I just saved all the lineups I was building during the podcast because they just looked so good, like giving me ideas of different builds. This will be like the 5 to 10% of random lineups that I'm building. I still will anchor around either Rahm or Rory. So I'm just one thing I also like to try to avoid. So there's only one golfer in this group of golfers that changed. So we still have the same core 5. I do like this. Like, I like Justin Lauer to, you know, as a great support piece, but I don't want to have this core of 5 because personally I don't have a lot of trust in Riley or Harman to provide, you know, the results we need. But if I was doing a core of, say, like this 4 and Riley showed up a bunch of times, that's okay. I think this is how you really maximize your potential for hitting the optimal lineup, is really narrowing down. But because I don't really have all the most trust in the golfers, I'm not gonna continue on. Like, I'll save it here again, but if it shows me one different golfer once again, I'm just gonna move on. Okay, this is good. I like when it changes. Finau, Morikawa, Harman, Theegala, Keegan Bradley, and Steven Yeager. Yeah, another great GPP possibility. Another one I'm stealing. These are way too good. I only say they're way too good because I am not anchoring around any of those guys, and my FOMO, the FOMO meter in me is just, it's fluctuating so much right now. Another good one. Hate continuing to do this, but here, this is what I'm gonna do. Just so you don't see me continuing to do this, I'm gonna go and copy the ownership percentages for these guys right here. This is my exposure levels, by the way. So if they stayed the same, we wouldn't be selecting some of the same golfers. One way to get around this is to set the exposure to 100%. That way it won't look at the exposures, and I can continue building lineups. So this way you don't have to keep watching me, you know, go back and forth. I'm gonna build a couple more and then I'll get on to the Bernd Scheffler. Yeah, I like it. I'm not, like I've said before, I have too much of a superstition to have the same salaries together. Part of that is because you never see the same salaries in an optimal lineup. You also never see the same salaries in a GPP winning lineup. So I don't think it has anything to do with anything scientific. It's just, I'd rather not. This is a really good lineup right here. Really good lineup. So that's the last one that I'm doing of the Finau Morikawa starts. Let's lock in Scheffler and Burns. That's a really good lineup. It's a really good lineup. And we're going to continue to see Harmon because he's a good value. Well, I'm sniping this one from you too, buddy. Just happening. Gonna have to deal with it. Poston Kirk Kuchar. Oh, yuck. If I don't like 2 salaries being the same, I'm certainly not gonna like 3 salaries being the same. Interesting. Is this like the most perfect lineup for you? This seems like a lineup tailor-made for you. I don't know what you like about I don't know if you like Mark Hubbard, but we have your Irishman. Yes, Irishman in there. And Sung Jae's pretty solid. How do you feel about this one? I'm not going to save it. You can have that one all to yourself. Here's a good one. Harmon and Poston showing up a lot. Let's just X one of those guys out. I'm going to X out Harmon. Just because I don't want to continue to see the same thing over and over again. Well, there you go. That lineup was perfect. The only thing is, do you like Sung Jae? It looks like Sung Jae is the perfect... what do we call it? Like, I want to say a support character, but that's not it. And I also want to say like an accent, but that's also not it either. He's a great what to add with Scheffler and Burns. Is Im out? Is Sung Jae Im out? Let's take a look. I don't see Sung Jae Im out. If that's what you're asking. Let me double check the Twitters. I also don't see Sung Jae Im out here. Joanne, can you be more specific? Where did you see Im was out? I mean, I could have missed it. I'm actually gonna retweet this. I should add the link to it too, right? It's there. Okay. I will do that for you, Mr. Shot Like Harden. I won't lie, sometimes when you email me asking for the optimizer, I see your email handle and I'm like, I don't who is this person? And then I'm like, oh yeah, I remember who it is. But then you usually sign it with like your actual name, your real name, and I'm like, who? What? Like, I just know you Shot Like Harden. I think maybe I've asked this before, but is it Shot Like James Harden? Is that what the name goes by? Implies? Always been curious. All right, so we said Homa. Correct. Okay. Yeah, Joanne, I'm curious. I'm really curious as to what it is. It broke. You broke the optimizer. Let's see here. What would be the issue? Are we saying yes to anyone else? I can't figure it out just by the eyeball test. Let's see if I clear everyone out, try to run it again. Okay, Very cool. Yeah, it's basically saying nay. Let me copy all of this, and I'll put zeros in here just to see. Where it goes wrong. What is the big dealio? Okay, so it chose 3 last year ones. Perfect. We wanted to select 1 last year 6, so that's probably where we're getting an issue. Usually that means there's not a low price guy that fits with all the other buckets to go with that. But it might not be the only reason that it's failing. So it definitely wants to select 1, but it's choosing 0. Okay, we want it to select 3, but it's choosing all 6, which is fine. We don't have any other anchors when it comes to last week buckets. We want it to select 1 course history 1. So this is another bucket that it's not doing it from. And again, it probably mostly comes from the price tags that these guys are at and the buckets that come from it that are with it. But if you don't care about the buckets, there you go. It's a solid lineup on the screen. I don't mind Emiliano Grillo. Another good one. Looks like it's Locken and Hadwin to go with those other 3. So that might be a good core 4 if you don't care about the buckets. Which if you don't, that's fine. This is a pretty good GPP lineup. Like having Brandon Wu in there, I think Brandon Wu is a good play this week in the 6K range. And Grayson Sick. Okay, I've seen enough. It's constantly selecting 6K golfers, which is fine. I would want my lineups to be to have the 6K golfers in them. I'm gonna bring back the buckets. Let's see what a Homa Scheffler lineup would look like. Just to break your heart, so we can't use Burns. We add Cantlay and 2 6K golfers. Interesting. And then this just all changed around. So we're adding Tyrrell Hatton to go along with. Yeah, I think it's really trying to select that last year 6. I think that's Tyrrell Hatton, right? Yeah, right here. It's the next best value. Although he's 84, I don't know why I didn't select Shane Lowry. Yeah, Ryder, I think that's a great play too. At 6,800. So is Davis Riley. Let's see. How about this? Let's do a test. It's fine Ryder. I hope he's in my top 100. If he's not, then he's no bueno. Sam UL Ryder, number 70 in an anchor buck or a Marquee Tee Time. Okay, so 70th. It's 90, 70 is gonna be right up here. Ryder, there we go. Let's check out. We just select Sam Ryder. Who is the top pairing that he goes with? But it's Xander. Xander and Cantlay, as well as Tom Kim. Solid. Let's cross out. Man, Poston and Kirk just continue to. One way that I like to circumvent that. So 7,300. Where are we at? Kirk is by himself and Poston is by himself. Where's my group 9? Brennan Todd, Shane Lowry, and Garrett Kigo. Since I know you like Lowry, actually, I bet you like Todd as well. I'm gonna get rid of them, and I'm putting Kirk and JT Poston in group 9. That way I can only select one of them. I don't have to deal with this, them being added together. Okay. Looks better and includes Shane Lowry this time. That's fine. He's not included with any of the other ones. So it has your guy Scheffler, but it goes to Patrick Cantlay, and then it goes to your guy Lowry. You got Ryder there. How about we cross out Harman? This is just like a couple weeks ago when Harman just kept showing up, and it's like, no, I'm not playing Harman that many times. And I think I was right that week. I think the week prior he was a good play. Hey, what's going on, Jim? You didn't really miss a lot. I mean, I went over my normal things I do in the strategy video. Marquee Tee Times, anchor buckets, the rankings. We already built a few lineups. Pretty much started with 4 different combos so far. Yeah, you're not missing much. Let me know if you want me to build some lineups with a couple dudes. And we'll build some. Oh, I like this lineup. So Cantlay, Scheffler, Lowry, Poston. Oh yeah, I'm saving that one. I'm stealing it from you, bud. It's all mine. You can't have it. Of course, that's not how it works, right? I'm gonna have to cross someone out. Who would it be? I'm gonna cross out Cantlay just to see what else it'll do at the top. Ooh, all right. This is what I'm liking. It included Rahm this time. Rahm, Tom Kim, Lowry, Poston, Noren, Ryder. Interesting. I don't like it. I'm saving it because I don't like it. I actually don't like it. Noren at 982. Let's cross him out. Build one more. That's fine, man. We can dupe City. Okay, Byron, I can do that for you. Hey, how are you feeling after shotgunning 3 beers? If you don't know, Back 9 Bets, he does YouTube. That's Byron. Byron, you also need to capitalize your L, because I always think your last name starts with an I, but it's Byron Levesque, right? Anyways, Back 9 Bets, he was shotgunning beers on his podcast. Are we feeling a little tipsy, bud? Ooh, this is a sexy lineup. Did we already do this one? No, JT Poston and Noren was a part of it, but Kirk and Wise. Saving that one for me too. Alrighty. We saw a couple good ones there. We want to put in Finau, Brennan Todd, and Matt Kuchar. Matty Cooch Daddy. Isn't that his nickname? Right, Byron? I don't know if you said it. I feel like that's something you'd say, Matty Cooch Daddy. I don't think that's what you said, but Jim, Harman's been showing up in all of my lineups, man. All of them. So, hey. I don't like that, but if you're cool with that, perfect. You do you, man. I have nothing. I'm not gonna criticize you. I don't like Harman that much. Okay, who am I looking at again? We need Brennan Todd, the Todd father. Matty Cooch Daddy with the Todd father. What are we calling? And Big Tone, right? Big Tone. We got our mafia there. Where the hell is Brennan Todd? Yeah, I've crossed him out so many times. Where in the hell is he? There we go. Yeah, it was right under my nose, basically. Alrighty, Byron, let's see. Are we gonna break the optimizer? I bet we break it. We don't. I was hoping to crush your dreams. Just kidding. I wasn't. Finau, Tom Kim. There you go. Hey, Kim is Byron's top dude. Matty Fitzpatrick, Brian Harman, Matt Kuchar, Brennan Todd. It makes me want to puke a little bit, but I'm also gonna steal it. We'll run another one. Oh, I gotta cross someone out because Kuchar is locked in, and Optimizer tells me he's the lowest valued guy. So again, Jim, here we go. Brian Harman just keeps showing up. I'm gonna actually cross out Brian Harman because I want to see Byron keep seeing Tom Kim and build all these lineups that he's gonna get crushed. His heart's gonna get crushed with. Yeah, Byron, Pat Mayo isn't the only guy who can provide good nicknames. I don't even have to try. It just happens naturally. 10-15. We're going to get Kirk out of there. GD Knight 95, welcome. First time I've seen you in the live chat. Do you think Rom wins or we see a repeat of his last... Oh, man. So, I genuinely think Rom and Rory, regardless if they want to admit it or not, they're really gunning for that #1 in the world. I think Rory is #1, right? So I think Rom is right on his heels. I also think Rom really loves this event. He loves this area. He's a Arizona State University grad. I think this is the year Rom gets it done. Like, I think this is a tournament he really wants to win. So I think it just increases my value on Rom. I really like Rom this week. Harmon is a little bulldog. University of Georgia. All right, so we cross out Harmon and we get Cantlay, Finau, Thigala, Kuchar, Todd, Riley. That is a very diverse lineup, Byron. That's pretty good. I like that lineup. I'm saving that one. Let's see here. Let's do another one. I like hearing that. I like hearing that, Byron. Cantlay, Finau, Thigala, Kuchar, Todd, and Maverick. Hey, man, I think this is a good spot for Maverick to bounce back. I hate this lineup so much, I'm going to save it. Probably going to remove one of these other ones, though. I'm going to get rid of the Riley one. I'm only going to allocate so many of these lineups for my random builds, my random lineup builds. I really just want 10, and I'm at 8 right now, so I'm just going to get rid of the one I don't like the most. And since I don't have Maverick McNeely in my other ones, I'm going to save this one. So, GD Knight, are you not on Sahith? Is that why we need to be on Sahith this week? Let us know. We're all superstitious people. I mean, we're all gamblers, so that makes us superstitious in nature. Are you not on Sahith this week? Ooh, Oren, I like that. I like that a lot. Cantlay, Finau, Thigala, Kuchar, Todd, and Kit, your mama. There you go. I got another one for you, Byron. Kit Ayama. I like that lineup a lot. A lot. Saving that. Let's put in one of those with Mr. Oren Pearson. Did I call you Peterson? If I did, I'm sorry. Pearson. Oren Pearson. So it was Morikawa, or as the elitists say, Morikawa, because that's how you're supposed to pronounce his name. I'm scaring you? He keeps showing up in the he keeps showing up with the optimizer builds. How am I scaring you? Am I a bad luck charm? Is that what you're trying to say? Am I actually the problem? Am I the reason? All right, we'll see. Let's see. So Morikawa, Cam Young, and Montgomery. By the way, Oren, I don't know how much you've seen of me building lineups, but Cam Young was in some juicy lineups earlier. Juicy. Uh-oh. I probably have to get rid of the... Oh, no. The 10K bucket is not selected. It breaks. So, Oren, you're out of luck. Sorry, pal. Let's see why it breaks. Conditionals are probably too heavy. It might be an AM/PM thing. It's probably an AM/PM thing. Yeah, so these guys are all AM starts. I put my max AM to 3. I really like the PM AM for rhythm purposes. Personally, I think anyone, unless it's a really bad, like a lot of wind on a Thursday afternoon or a Friday morning, I always think that there's more of an advantage of going PM AM, because that weight in between an AM PM split, I think, is a little problematic, and it's something that I think messes with certain golfers. Don't get me wrong, like, just to show you like how it really doesn't matter, if I go to the 2022 DK page of this tournament, like, we're gonna see PM, PM, AM, PM, AM, PM, AM, PM, 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 PM. These are all Thursday lineups, by the way, or Thursday tee times. So you're still gonna have your mix of AMs in there, but you see a bunch of PMs here. And I didn't even look at this prior to doing this. I was just gonna show you the different, like, there's gonna be AMs mixed in with PMs. So here we go. I don't know if there was a weather advantage here, but you've got a bunch of AMs just stacked up right here. Of course, we have our 3 PMs. And then let's try 2020. We have tee times here. We do. Good. Byron, you'll appreciate this. I created these purple and gold color combinations. This is the year Kobe died, and these were the people that came out on social media saying that they were going to give tribute to Kobe while playing. So that's why I have them purple, gold, just to see how well they were going to play. And I mean, there's 3 of them, but there's more down here that said something. So it's not like all of them did well, but I always like doing stuff like that to see if there's like a mental reason why a golfer will do better or not. So AM, AM, AM. So a bunch of AMs here. Of course, then you have 3 PMs. Like, there's always like a good equal mix. So maybe I just open that up to 4. Now that I see enough of that, we'll just open up to 4 and not just we'll do no more than 4. I'm gonna bring back the strict anchor minimums just to see if we can build a lineup with it. Otherwise, if not, you see the lineup on the screen right now that came out. That's pretty good. Okay, so we move that to 4, and I'm sure we have 4 AM golfers now. Yep. And now we get Cam Young, Morikawa, Fitzpatrick, Montgomery, Harmon, and Stewart Cink. Correct. Yes. A little somewhat of a tribute from me. Morikawa, Cantlay, Cam Young. Okay, so now we can build some good lineups here. All right, so I mentioned that, Byron. I Shot Like Harden was in here when I was going on my rant about the PGA Tour website. Thankfully, I've started recording my own stats that I actually scraped from Data Golf. So I don't have to really worry about that. But I know, like, you and like Josh Bennett grabbing like all of the yardage buckets and stuff like that. Anything that's on that site is now you can't pull from. And I imagine they're doing that on purpose, because there are a lot of us out there that are scraping from those sites that they would want you to pay money for it. They'd want you to be exclusive. Like, they want exclusivity with their partners that they're allowing to use the stats for. So yeah, it's a travesty, really. I'm glad I'm getting out of there. And I think the only stats that I really use, like in my model, is birdie or better, bogey avoidance, and driving distance. I can just record those. Also, I found a way to manually do it that doesn't really take much time. Like, I can do it within 3 minutes. It just requires you to, you know, throw some formulas in and stuff like that. If you want to know that, I can send it to you. I can show you. I knew it was eventually coming, Byron. I knew it was eventually coming. I think we were lucky for as long as we've been able to, just to pull without, like, because I personally think we're not supposed to. Well, first of all, I don't know if you're making any money by using those stats, but I think the quote unquote terms of service or something like that is that you can't use you can't use it for monetary reasons. Oh, that is true too. Shot Like Hard in Vegas controls a lot of stuff. Lots of stuff. Sorry guys, I was been chatting and not building any lineups. I'm not digging this song. Okay, so it looks like if we start with Cam Young, Colin Morikawa, and Taylor Montgomery, it's kind of focusing on another 9K golfer and dipping in the 6K range, which I don't mind, especially for GPP builds. Like, getting a 6K golfer is actually pretty decent. Yeah, okay, so we're talking about it enough. Let me pull it up on over here. So you go to the stats page and like, you know, most of us have, like, we can go like, this is disgusting in itself. You just select one of these and then I'll pull it down a little bit so you can see. Sorry, I have 4K monitors, so they make things really small. I don't know if you can see that, but like this URL in here, you can use this. Pull up another thing. So if I were to scroll over here, I'll make this so you guys can see. This is my input sheet. So I have everything automated here. I have all these tabs down here. So driving distance, you can see this NA shows up. I have an import HTML formula in here. I'm sure some of you guys that scrape also see these. And you would want to find the table that houses this information. But if you were to actually use an Excel spreadsheet and show the Power Query of it, nothing appears. There's one table that'll let you choose from, and it's called Documents. And the document page doesn't have anything in it. So, and, oh, I should have kept the PGA Tour website up. I want to show you this because it's stupid. It is so stupid. So if we go to Stats, I'll put this up here. So if we go to stats and say you go off the tee, and I'm gonna go with driving distance because this is something I used. If you wanted to select all of this and paste it in here, if I paste by total, look at how disgusting this is. Has all these expand row things, has the yardages and stuff. Well, that was just pasting values only. If I were to paste the format with the values, you get this junk. What in the hell are you supposed to do with that? It is so bad. So it just doesn't make things easy. And then also, just to show you, for those that are using, I'll just open a new tab on this. What I found out is if you like just copy, all right, don't copy the format and formula. That's disgusting. Don't do that. Just copy the values only. And then you're going to have your names in the expanded rows here. So I just trim off this disgusting nonsense. Even this, I don't care about this because you're going to find your yardages here. You can see the first name is below the expanded row. So what I'll do is I just hit delete, shift up, and then I literally create a if statement. So if, say, E1 equals expand row, exactly how it's spelled, I'll put a 1, other not, put a 0. Close that up. Do the little click and drag. Copy and paste just the values only. Shift, control down, over, and then we can sort by this column here, column D, smallest to largest, and now you got all your players up top. So you can do this with every single stat. So it's just an easy way if you didn't already know how to do that. Just a refresher for some of those that do. Now you get your stats nice and orderly and you get all your junk down here. Like literally it's junk. So you know what, Byron, Jim, they can do their hardest to try to get us not to have, you know, reasonable stats, but screw them. We can still figure out ways to do it. So just a little fun thing for you guys to see there. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? All right, back to building lineups. Let's see, what do we see? Oren, dude, you're right there with all of us. We all have vendettas against people. Ask Shot Like Harden who my vendetta is. Damn right, Shot Like Harden. Damn right. Power to the people. Oh, I know, Byron. I'm sorry. You gotta simplify it sometimes too, but... And also, you don't have to update it every single week. You can just update it every other week. The stats aren't going to change that much. And you can use, you know, hopefully you have some kind of archiving that you've done. Yeah, there you go, Shot Like Harden. You know it. I say it enough. My vendetta is against Jason Day. Oren. Okay, Alex Noren. So Noren is right here. So this is an order of my rankings. So Noren is 33rd in my ratings, and that's fine at $7,600. It's good enough. He showed up in a bunch of my lineups already that we've been building. So if I just hit yes, lock him in, we're going to see some lineups. The most optimal with him, Cantlay, Schauffele, Shane Lowry, Brian Harmon. So Jim's going to love this. Brian Harmon, JT Poston, and Alex Noren. So Cantlay and Schauffele shows up a ton for me. And in fact, I already said this once. Let me do it again. If I just run this optimizer with nothing in there, those are the two guys that show up. I think actually maybe not Cantlay. Schauffele certainly does. Yeah. Ooh. So I'm always curious why it does this. So before I went live, I tried it out and Schauffele was the #1 guy that kept showing up. I wonder, I have to have these the same, right? Yeah, they're the same. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why, but it's so weird why Schauffele wasn't the top dude. I mean, it isn't so... Oh, I know why. I know why. I can tell you right now. So before, I think it was Joanne wanted a lineup that had 2 9K golfers in it, which meant I had to get rid of a 10K. So one of our anchor buckets is the 10K range. So if I put that back in, I rerun this with no, you know, locks in there, Xander should be the first guy that shows up. GD Knight says he can't play Brian Harmon, so that means we have to play Brian Harmon, right? What was your take on Sahith Theegala again? Are you on him or no? We also need to know that too. We're at the almost 2-hour mark right now. 1 hour 59. And actually that's probably a little off because, I mean, it's not off by a lot, maybe 30 seconds. So either way, 159, Byron. Yeah, here we go. So if I lock in that 10K bucket, at least picking one, it's going to make sure it selects Xander Schauffele and then goes here. And then all the guys you guys have already talked about, basically. Not so much Mitchell. I don't know how Mitchell got in there, but whatever. You know what I'm going to do? Nah, never mind. Actually, yes. Here, let me do something really quick. Let's scroll over here. So what I don't like seeing the values as they are because I'm not sure they're absolutely correct. So I'm gonna do this really quick. I shouldn't say they're absolutely correct. It's just there's some weirdness that's coming with these values. I don't like seeing it. Shouldn't take too long. By the end of this video, y'all are going to be Excel wizards, right? Aha. Some of them updated. I knew they would. Like I said, I was copying from both the cheat sheet, which is more updated than my sheet is right now, and there was just something weird. So actually, no, I see a lot of the same. It doesn't matter. Not a big deal. All right, guys. GD Knight says he's playing Sith Thagala. We all have to get off. Do not play Sith Thagala. Don't do it. Enjoy your evening as well, Byron. Thanks for stopping in, man. Jim, so basically what I end up doing is, I'll show you. So this is what again, one of the things I love about my optimizer. So I already have these lineups in, right? If I go to my contest page, which I've updated for my big one, but not for this one, I'll hit randomize and it grabs those lineups and just pastes them here. So I put my contest here. I'm sorry, I'll zoom in. I copy over my input lineup, or the export, I should say, from DraftKings to then import back in. So you can see entry fees, contest IDs. I also keep track of how much money that I'm putting on golfers once I update this. So just to show you, I could add these names right here. Well, let's just do this. Let's add those 3. And you can see how this will update. So count 5. And if I were to put a money total here, just say like 50, 20, 30, or whatever, you can see how much I'm investing, the max, and just the difference between invested versus the max. Just interesting data points for me to see. I just keep hitting this randomize button until I see like a few lineups at the top that I like, and then I import. So Chad's lineup will always be like somewhere here, or Chad's contest. I don't personally look at it, if I'm being quite honest. Oh yeah, Anna, what's on my face? Tell me. Be careful with your words, because I might sick all these guys over on your Instagram page. Be careful. Yeah, so anyways, Jim, I don't I care about that, and I'll tell you this. I won that fall swing doing the exact same strategy. So I always play 100 unique lineups. I don't I just randomize my lineups. Yeah, Anna, be careful with what you say. Careful. Hey Anna, do you have some players you'd like me to build lineups around? I know you're a huge DFS player. Let me know. Let's see here. Any other combos that you guys want to see? I still want to see Rom. Who did I say that I liked? I don't remember who was a part of the anchor or the Marquee Tee Times that I liked. It was Rom and... Well, Rom and Cantley was for sure. Oh, Rom and Morikawa. That's what it was. It shows like it. That's not even a person. I don't even know what you're talking about. All right, Rom and Morikawa. Let's see what the best lineups are here. If I had a D's nuts joke, I would just unload it on you right now. Rom, Morikawa, Harmon, I don't like that. Way too many around that same. Let's make sure it picks an 8K golfer. By the way, Anna, there's a 10-second delay. So if it's weird whenever you type in. I see it right away, but then when I like reply back, it's gonna be like 10 seconds or whatever that 10-second delay is. So there's always some little delay. Rom, Morikawa, Lowry, Harmon, Mitchell, and Mark Hubbard. I don't mind Mark Hubbard. I like that. KH Lee and Xander. Okay. I'll definitely do a KH Lee and Xander lineup. With Sahith Theegala? I'm sure you want that, right? I don't like Lowry. All right, so I'll go back to the lineups I want to build later. I'll go ahead and do a KH Lee. Oh my god. Everyone go to Anna Ballman's Instagram. If you're on Instagram, go check out her. Just give her a bunch of likes. Just so she's so she thinks she's special. Makes her feel good. Oh, I think I have it under Younghoon. The Korean cowboy, I love that. You're lucky. Didn't select Sahith to go with KH Lee and oh, yeah, that ain't happening. What? No. If you put your Venmo in here, I'm blocking you. You're getting blocked out of my life forever. I'm kidding. KH Lee. All right. So do we not want to play Harmon or Lowry? But I'm not a huge Lowry guy. Not this week. He is rated out pretty decent in my model, though. Anna, I'll let you shout out your OnlyFans account. This is a great lineup. Cantley, Shoffley, Harmon, Montgomery, Poston, and KH Lee. Oh, did he? Oh, yeah. I forgot the guy that he said he didn't want to play. I'm going back. I'm trying to find what he said. Was it actually Brian Harmon that he said he's basically can't play Brian Harmon? Oh, that's right. All right, we'll cross out Brian Harmon. I know. Okay, guys. Anna doesn't have an OnlyFans. That was loaded. I was waiting for you to come into chat one day, and I was just gonna say that to everyone. Xander, Tom Kim, Taylor Montgomery. This is a pretty good lineup. I like this so much. I'm gonna save it. I'm sniping it. Well, you need to know who to replace Brian Harmon with. The buckets are extremely strict. How are you gonna know? I really like Taylor Montgomery in this one. That's a really good. I like that lineup a lot. And this is a good one too. I'm not gonna save this one. Let's see. Oh yeah, by the way, it kind of reminds me. Oh, is it? You enjoy the banter and going along with the lineup building as opposed to Love Island? I think I would choose Love Island, honestly. This is... No, I'm kidding. Okay, cool. Hey, Anna, you actually reminded me of something that I want to show the audience. It's not a picture of you. Don't worry about it. So I'm going to bring over the thumbnail And I want you to check this out. So if I go like this, let me go ahead and get rid of my display. I think this is going to work right away. Perfect. Look at that. That's a transition that I was working with that one guy with. This is what I was choosing to do. I'll do it again. So I think this might be kind of my intro. I have to fix the timestamps and stuff like that. We'll see how it goes, but that's kind of what I was thinking to do, or thinking about doing with that. Those aren't words you put together. I don't know what the hell happened there. Just had a mini blackout. I'm kidding. I didn't, but seriously, this is a sexy lineup with KH Lee and Shoffley. Fleetwood, who we haven't even talked about at all tonight, comes into play. Aaron Wise. Yeah, I'm saving this one too. Sniping it from you, pal. This is a pretty good combo going with KH Lee and Xander. I thought so too. So that was part of a different wallpaper that I used to, or thumbnail that I used to do, like the base layer of it, and it just shows like all the little equations and stuff like that. But I'm glad you like it. Okay, so this is what I was planning on doing, just so you see it. Again, I'm sorry for hijacking the stream. So when this shows up, just think of like a segment above or below that logo that happens. That'll show either like the bucket system, building lineups, or something. So it would be on the top or the bottom. Just to add as like kind of a transition. See, Anna. Okay. How many more lineups am I gonna go with the KH Lee? Ooh, this is another good one. Look at this one. You're on something there, GD Knight. Crazy. So we're gonna go cross those off, and still want to make a Rom Morikawa lineup work. Hey, I don't mind something like this. Oh, I don't like Shane Lowry. Anyone else have other combos they would like me to see build some lineups with? Thought I already clicked. Oh, Brian Harmon shows up. GD Knight, if I win big and I go and brag about it, and you're like, dude, I was the one to give you a lineup, and I somehow forget, like, if I forget to give you credit, you come back and you chastise me as much as possible, and then I'll give you credit. I'm not about taking anything away from anyone, so you let me know. That was a good lineup. Those were a lot of good lineups. I like this one. You've blacklisted Brian Harmon, and I'm going to remove him as well. Oh, I suppose, right? KH Lee, TP Lee, what they call him. This is a TPC golf course, so he's supposed to do well automatically. Rom, Morikawa, Kirk, Hadwin, Ricky. Oh, I like that. If there was ever a... Okay, yeah, I like that. I do want to play Ricky this week. I'm not going to really try to force him, but this is kind of getting to him naturally. And I like this lineup too. Here we go. Your boy Sahith. So I'm building. I have 114 lineups saved, like in contest right now. I imagine I'm gonna put 20 lineups together, so I'm at 15. I'll probably put 20 of these like that we're doing right now. I'll put those in random lineups just to see. So I can't tell you which contest I'm putting. I was just about to, and then I remember what the terms of service are on DraftKings. So we can't, like, not just content creators, but anyone. We can't talk to each other about certain lineups we're building, and we can't tell each other which lineups or which contests to put those lineups in. It's a twofold thing. So we can't talk. So you see a lineup that I put on the screen, right? I can't tell you to go to the Dime Time or the Quarter Arcade or the Drive the Green contest and say, hey, put this lineup in there, because that would be collusion, and that goes against the terms of service on DraftKings. But I think what I'm going to do with these lineups is I'm going to put them in maybe random contests. Maybe I'll select one contest that I can 20 enter or something like that and put these lineups in, because a lot of these I like, just like the one that's on the screen. Stalling, Xander, and Scheffler. You want two 10K guys together? What's the reasoning behind that? Is it just because you like the golfers, or do you think that's a sneaky way of building lineups this week? Xander, Scotty Scheffler, and Stalling. There we go. It works out, doesn't break. That's always a good sign. I did have to remove the 9K range because I did have that locked in. That is an anchor bucket. But it does work, so that's great. You don't want to see Brian Harman, so let's remove Brian Harman. Okay. I want to build some ROM and Rory lineups just out of FOMO. Okay. I'll remove let me build a couple more, and I'll remove Xander after that, because I'm curious to see what this will look like. It looks like Kirk and Hadwin are just really good value, so they're just going to continue to show up. Ooh, I like this one. Saving it, doing it. I want to get rid of Hadwin. I like Hadwin in general, but I want more firepower, honestly. This is a good lineup. It's a really good lineup. Gross. Okay. So, oh, you wanted Xander out. Okay, yeah. I'll build some more with Xander. My bad. Ooh, so it's... Oh. I'm stupid. Let's do this. I was making sure it's selected two 10K guys, but that lineup right there is also very sexy. Okay, so we're not selecting two 10Ks. We'll just stick it at one and see what it does. Okay, this is better. Scheffler, Cantlay, Montgomery. H. Lee gets selected without even locking him in, right? We didn't lock him in. We do not have KH Lee locked in. We just have Scott Stallings locked in. So naturally got to KH Lee, man. That's, I feel like, a good omen, right? It's a good lineup too. 10-9-8, 7-7-6. I'll let you, I want to save that one, but I'm allocating one more to a random one, and I don't want to, I'd rather wait. Oh yeah, I have to cross off one of these guys. Let's do Kirk. Kirk shows up way too much. good one. This is a good one. I'm gonna steal that one. Yeah, a lot of these lineups that are coming up now are extremely sad. Oh, darn it! I have to. Scott Stallings is the lowest ranked guy, so because I have him locked in, it's just going to continue this loop where it's like, no, you got to get rid of Stallings. So let's see. How about we get rid of Poston? We keep seeing the same dudes over and over again. I want to see if the optimizer will select someone different. This is different. Oh my god, it's so different. I want to keep it. Dude, I hate building lineups with you guys. This sucks. All right. Let's see. What else do we want to do? I think that's going to be it for that combo. I want to do the Rory ROM. Hubbard, of course. Harmon, of course. So let's just lock with the guys we already know, right? So Hadwin, I don't want to see any more Hadwin. I don't want to see any more Harmon. I don't want to see any more Lowry. We already know these guys are going to show up a ton. And I like Poston, so I'll keep Poston there, but I might have to lock him out if he keeps showing up too much. Yeah, Mitchell and Poston we keep seeing a bunch too. I don't mind this. I don't know how I feel about Neesmith, honestly. I don't mind him, but I don't. I had him during. Ooh, this is a good lineup. I've gone over my 20. I've gone over the original 10, and I'm like, maybe I'll reserve 20. Now I'm over 20, and it's just going to continue to go up. Going back to Neesmith, though. I had him at the American Express, and he just tanked day one. That was his first time back in a while. Had a really good round 2 and round 3. Still missed the cut, but like round 3, he shot like a 66 or a 65, something like that. Something good. It's like, okay, that's cool. And then thinking about playing him at... I think he was at Pebble last week, and I think he was also at the Farmers Insurance Open, and I don't think he made the cut in either of those tournaments. So it's like, I don't know how to feel about it. You could obviously be on the wrong side of the weather, the wrong side, because there was weather at Farmers and there was weather at Pebble that you had to take into account. So I don't know. I don't know how to take Matthew Neesmith's last couple rounds of golf. This one's okay. I'm not going to stretch to get Putnam or Svensson in my lineups. But this is a lineup I can get behind. Okay, so I don't want to see Poston and Mitchell a lot. And I'm going to go ahead and undo the Buckley lockout. By the way, last week, Will Gordon, Brendan Todd kept showing up in my lineups. If this is any omen, Brendan Todd and Will Gordon kept showing up in my lineups. Now, Will Gordon ended up withdrawing, I believe. He had a 6-under round going before the winds picked up at the end of his round when he was at Pebble. He, I think, got a double, a bogey. I want to say he had like a stretch of 3 holes where he made bogey, and I think he might have birdied one of the last holes. That, I think, bad luck just transitioned into the next round and the round after that to make him just be like, I'm done. I'm out of here. I think Gordon was a really good play outside of the weather. He kept showing up, so did Brendan Todd. Brendan Todd finished, what, second or third last week? I don't know, it's top 5. And I was like, I hate seeing Brendan Todd that much. Just like this week, I hate seeing Brian Harmon that much. I also hate seeing Shane Lowry that much. That's an omen, maybe it is, I don't know. Same goes with JT Poston and Keith Mitchell. Like, I don't want to keep seeing their names, but probably a good reason why we're seeing their names a bunch. I can get behind this. Yeah, I can get behind this one. Good lineup. Oh, KH Lee. It's just like we just lock him in that one time and now he keeps showing up. I like that lineup. I'm going to also lock out Poston. I'm sure then we're going to see Chris Kirk. Most likely. Yeah, there's Chris Kirk and Brennan Todd. All right, so any other lineups out there that people want to see? Let me know. I think I'm going to mess around and try to do some Rahm Morikawa lineups or some Rory Cantlay lineups. I don't mind that. I don't... Ryan Moore is just like one of those guys I can never get right. Wise and Glover. Okay, Glover's an interesting choice. I don't mind that. Kirk. Why is... Oh, I locked in Kirk. I got to lock Kirk out. Do that every once in a while. Yeah, I don't mind Patton Kizzire this week. I think it's a decent play. I think he showed up in like one of the first optimal or one of the first lineups that I'd built. I don't have nothing against Patton Kizzire. Is this the week that Patrick Rogers turns it around? He's been playing awful to begin this year. I actually kind of like that. All right. Enough of these. So Rahm, I want to make a Rahm, Morikawa, Montgomery lineup work. And I want to... Suppose I can keep that at 4. That's fine. Everything as is and see what my top lineups are. All right, Charlie Carton, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here for like 2+ hours. Awesome. Enjoy when you're in the chat asking for lineups. And kind of playing around with the fun part of the chat. Brian Harmon, we're kicking you out, bud. God, I have to keep Harmon in. I know you don't like that GD Knight. Just, this is like Brian Harmon, or this is Brendan Todd from last week. It's a 7K range that just constantly pops. Oh, I don't like it, but I almost feel like I have to. There you go. Here's your Patton Kizzire. Speak of the devil, and he shows up. How does that saying go? Speak of the devil, and whatever. I don't remember. But yeah, I'm gonna save that one. Hopefully that answers your Patton Kizzire, because like I said, I think starting with Rahm, it's just easy to get to Kizzire. I don't mind this, but I also don't like it all the same. Jaeger can, I mean, I think Jaeger's got a good possibility to do well here. All right, so I'm actually gonna bring back Jaeger, and I want to cross out Stallings. Because it's like Stallings ends up being the glue to access the lower 6K range. And I would rather the optimizer just select one 6K or a different combo of 2 6Ks. Otherwise, it's just going to be Stallings. And this could just be Davis Riley, and I don't want to see that. If I see 2 more Rileys, I'm just going to lock out Riley. Good. Didn't see it. Now we actually introduce Billy Horschel, Kevin Kisner, and Brendan. Okay, I'm saving that one. Yeah, so this is another good one that I like. I'm not gonna do too many like 10Ks. Like I would rather limit myself here. Because I just don't. You know, when we look at past optimal lineups, I don't really see a lot of. Well, I shouldn't say you don't see a lot. I think in this tournament, there's more 7Ks you'd want in your lineup than 6Ks. I do like that lineup too. I'm gonna actually bring back Nick Taylor and get rid of Billy Horschel, because now Billy Horschel seems to be the glue for these 6Ks. 77.72. Way down here. Any other lineup builds out there that people are interested in? Any combos, I should say, that people want me to build lineups around? Not going to do that one, but Wise is a good replacement. Yeah, so with Jordan Spieth, I actually, both of those guys together, I almost feel the same way. Like, I just think they're so erratic off the tee. Despite, okay, I watched Jordan for most of the Pebble Beach tournament. And in day one, they were talking about how great he was off the tee and basically every green he was hitting. And then day two was even better. I was on the road, but I was listening to the PGA Tour radio. And they're like, yeah, Spieth is actually hitting it better today than he was yesterday. With that wind, it was really hard to gauge how well or how poorly he was playing. He just wasn't making any putts. With the wind, that's probably what's going to happen. I like the lineup on the board. So I'm kind of torn. It seems like Jordan can't put 4 rounds together. And this even goes back to what, the Farmers? I think he was either at the Farmers or the tournament. The one that he played prior to that. Let's take a look. So Spieth, the Sony. Yeah, so day one, right? He's leading the tournament. And there wasn't really weather that had came in to really affect that. It was just a firm and fast, condition. And he went from first to last, and not really last, but he missed the cut. In Tournament of Champions, there's no cut. Finishing 13th looks good. It's not terrible, but I don't know what to make of Jordan Spieth. I think this is a great volatile play. Personally, I guess I don't like any of the placements that he was either last year or even last week. I'm full fading Spieth this week. And so I said this earlier, when I mean full fade, I'm not going to play him more than 5 to 10%. With Spieth, I'll put him in one lineup and one lineup only. And that I'll put in like a winner take all contest, so I can hopefully, if that one hits, I recoup all my money. But nah, I'm cool with not playing Spieth until he can show 4 rounds. And also, I get a little perturbed a little bit when I watch his rehearsal. They even mentioned this, I think, on the broadcast, is like he's being even more meticulous with his, what he's trying to do in his backswing when he's taking all those practice swings and doing that weird, trying to keep his right elbow low and into his body. That doesn't make me feel super confident in playing him. Like, he wants to make sure he feels that at all times, but it's like it's more pronounced now, and he's just that type of person. He's really that type of like meticulous and just oddball type of person when playing golf. So that kind of goes right up his alley. And I think, it's not something you should really take negatively, but it's hard not to. Let's put it that way. It's hard not to. I don't mind playing, I don't mind building some lineups with Jordan Spieth in it, but you asked me how I feel about Spieth and JT, and that's kind of my feelings on it. But let's put a lineup together with both of them in it. Zoom out. McIlroy, JT, Chris Kirk, Jordan Spieth, Adam Hadwin, and Mark Hubbard. Hey man, I don't mind that lineup. You know, if there was a good JT Jordan Spieth lineup, pairing him up with Rory, Rory or Rahm to me is just the easiest. I think that's the easiest bet to be top 5. Like if you were like, hey, you get X odds, you pick Rahm or Rory versus the field, I'd be like, yeah, as long as it's like positive odds, I would take Rahm or Rory over the field. Like and feel extremely comfortable again with it. So this is a good lineup. 2 6Ks. I think that's fine. That's fine this week. At least they're getting paired with the guys I'm talking about, Rahm or Rory. Like that, pretty good. Adam Hadwin is the glue to that lineup though, so I'm probably gonna have to X him out. Yeah, we're gonna X out Hadwin. And I'm sure now your boy Brian Harmon's gonna show up. There he is. Just on time. The lineup that wins it all right there. Let's cross out Harmon. Saving it, you know, for FOMO reasons. Interesting lineup. I don't like it, but interesting nonetheless. I can cross out how about this? I'll cross out a 10K golfer because it's automatically choosing a 10K. We'll let it kind of stretch its possibilities here. There you go. Cantlay Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Connors, Taylor Pendrith. So that's a much better lineup in my opinion than forcing it with the 10K. All right, I'll build a few more. If you have any more lineup builds, I'll certainly do that. If anyone else is in chat that'd like to see some lineup builds, let me know. I'll continue doing this as long as we get some more lineup ideas, but if not, I can call her a night. Cantlay Thomas, yeah, Spieth. This is a good lineup too. I don't like seeing Riley that much, but I think he's a good value at this tournament. Fleetwood and Neesmith. Okay, that's cool. I want to check one thing. So I did this last week, and I think it would have worked out if it wasn't for the weird weather split. I'm going to look at past tournaments and just see what the bent grass stat was, because I've included bent grass stat before. So Sahith last year, 92nd in my model, 0% top 10 success rates. He'd only played 6 bent grass golf courses before. Everyone else, though, that you see inside the top 10 had over 0%. Okay. So in 2021, who else do we have? Oh, what? That's a bummer. Do we have the stats over to the side at all? We don't. That sucks. I bet you I don't have it in 2020 then either. But I do. Was I just lazy in 2021? That sucks. Homa and Adam Long in the top 10 with 0% success rates. Homa was in the optimal lineup, $7,100. Sometimes when I look at these things, I look at the golfers and try to, like, you know, who are these guys? Homa's obviously a good golfer in today's era. Back then he was kind of an up and comer, right? I don't know if he'd already won the Wells Fargo. Can't remember when he won that tournament, but sometimes I want to see these 0%ers to see what their names are and where their game is today. And 29, I had overall bent. I didn't actually have the percentages then, so that's a bummer. But everyone looks to have at least decent bent grass stats. So nothing 60 or above. A lot of them sticking in the 40 range or lower. That's kind of also what I would be looking for, you know, looking at this week. So How about this? We just go filter by condition, less than or equal to. Actually, let's see who's more than. See if there's anyone that's like really questionable. So Homa, that's very interesting. Damon, let's go by salary though. Homa, Siwoo, some of this I don't really care. You know, like this is 50. The 50 range I don't really mind. Okay, let's do it this way. Gotta do by salaries. It's the only way that's gonna make it look reasonable. Homa, oh boy. I don't mind that. Like that's not something that's really going to bother me. Like Garrick Higo, that will bother me. I wouldn't want to play Garrick Higo. He's 73rd in my model. I don't mind crossing out Garrick Higo. Ooh, this hurts. Hurt Kitayama. That's now could he be a Max Homa? You know, from 2020? Could he be a Sahith Theegala from last year? Possibly. Like I have no issues with that. Thinking that way. Another guy that I probably don't want to play is David Lipsky because of his 0%. And most likely Aaron Ryan. Now these guys are gonna get their top 10s here and there, but in a field like this, I don't think it's this week. I'm also just, how about this? So nothing really is notable except for Max Homa. Everyone else is in the 7K range and below. How about greater than or equal to 59? Ooh, I see Scott Stallings down there, but he's at least, So there's Stallings. Let's do this. Yeah, it's all already by salary. And no one else is really in my top 100. And that's what I'm building lineups with right now, except for Higo, Mullinax, Stallings, Jaeger, Lashley, Sig, and Brandon Wu. So we've already talked about Brandon Wu. Now I might just get rid of him out of my lineups. I don't mind doing it this way. I want, again, to be more precise with my lineup builds. As much as I want it to be random and invite volatility in my lineups, I'm also a big proponent of grass surfaces not being comfortable for certain players. So most of these guys, like Scott Stallings, has 84 events on bent grass. This last year, it's been pretty decent, but overall in his lifetime, not super great. I might give him a pass because he has more experience, but like maybe a Mullinax, I wouldn't. And certainly not a Higo. And yeah, probably not a Jaeger. Maybe Lashley. Like, I guess I don't mind. I mean, one of these guys is probably going to be inside the top 20 at least. Because again, like we've seen this in 2020. You know, you had Sahith Theegala. That's about it though. Sahith Theegala, Max Homa again. I'm just looking at these 16 above numbers. Or anything that's just like close to 50. So Patton Kazire, he had a top 10 there at least. And then 2021 I was lazy, right? Didn't put bent grass in here. 2020. You know, I guess Homa once again, Adam Long. Those are the only guys with 0%. Otherwise, everyone else is better than 60. Well, Mark Hubbard. Okay. So those are anomalies that I can easily exclude. The only golfer you really wanted was Homa with those other golfers I said, because he was in the optimal lineup. Now, I'm sure we could pivot off of him to another 7,100 or lower guy. Let's see, what did this equal? Salaries. 50,000 on the button. So we would have to go below Homa. I mean, Adam Long, this equals 49.3. Of course, he's in the 60 range, so we don't do that. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really make lineup building easy when it's that way. This is 49.3. So, I mean, we could do that. 3 7s, a 6, a 10 9. We've already started lineups that way. Don't quite like that. How about a Billy Horschel with Brendan Grace? That's 50,000 on the button. Perfect. So that's a 10.98.776. There we go. And this would include golfers with good bent grass stats. Let's see, what were their DK points? Do we know? No, I didn't include that year. Okay. So yeah, maybe I do include one of these guys. Maybe just don't cross them out completely. Yeah, okay. That's fine. I'm glad to have gone through it. Also show you how my brain works a little bit. Who else is here? I'll give you guys like, I'm gonna give you the 10 seconds of the delay between us, but I'll give you like another minute to provide some more combos to build lineups with. If not, I don't mind ending the stream. Give you guys some time back and also myself some time back. I guess to build some more Spieth Thomas lineups. Let's see. KH Lee gets included here. That's great. Still posting shows up a ton. Hey, Davis Thompson, that's great. Jeffrey Lawrence, what's up, man? It's the first time you catching a live video. What's happening? At least that I remember. Maybe you have been here before, but from my memory, which I don't have very good short-term memory, maybe you were here already. JT Poston. As much as I like him, I don't want to put him in all my lineups. Patrick Cantlay. Yeah, so it keeps going with Cantlay. Let's cross out Cantlay. See if what it would do without him. I like that Pendrith was included here. And Brennan Todd. Okay, I like this. Going from JT to Kim. Kirk's gonna show up a bunch. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I thought maybe you'd been here before. It was probably one of the first ones, right? You got any lineup ideas? Also, it never fails to have like a participant show up late in the stream to keep me continue doing this, which is fine. I love it. I like this lineup. Thomas, Fitzpatrick, Connors, Kirk, Spieth, and Pendrith. I'll save that one. All right, let's cross that out. I think the only one I haven't really done is a Rory lineup. So I like Rory this week. How about we go for our anchors or our Marquee Tee Times? So Rory was where? Right here. Rory's playing with Morikawa and Matsuyama, so I'm probably going to avoid that. I think I did say I was going to pair him up with Patrick Cantlay, but I think I would rather have either Cantlay or Kim, and I don't care which one. So I'm going to let the optimizer choose. We're just going to plug in Rory. I'm also going to make sure that the optimizer selects at least one 9K golfer, so it has to make a decision. But we're just going to say yes to Rory. Let's see where it goes. Cool, cool, cool. Jeffrey, do you use that cheat sheet quite a bit? I see people in there from time to time, but it doesn't show me. Everyone's anonymous, so it's good to know that the people are using it. That's what I have it out there for you, or for. All right, GD Knight, thank you for jumping in and asking questions, participating. Appreciate that. Have a good night. No, I don't want Lowry. Lowry's going to show up a bunch. Harmon's going to show up a bunch. This one was paired with Cantley, which is whatever. A little different. I don't mind this. 3 7s and a 6. Scott Stallings is getting the boot though, so that's fine. I don't care for that one. I like that one. Looks like it's Cantley that's going to be paired up with Rory a bunch. Let's cross them out. There we go. Tom Kim, Cameron Young, Chris Kirk, Keith Mitchell, Svensson. Don't mind that one. I'm not going to save it though. All right. 15 more seconds to get me 2 golfers to build around. Otherwise, I think we're going to call it a night. Actually, I didn't mind that lineup. I should have saved it. I can get back to it. There we go. This is a different one than I've seen all night. Save that one. Another different one. Keith Mitchell keeps showing up. Okay. I have not done a Tom Kim and Scheffler lineup yet. God, I don't want. I gotta. One of these golfers is going to be in the optimal lineup. It's either going to be Harman, Hadwin, Kirk, JT Poston, Shane Lowry, or Keith Mitchell. One of those guys is going to be in the optimal lineup. They keep showing up. This is like week in and week out when I do the optimizer, like I build lineups. These guys keep showing up and it's like, no, they keep showing up way too many times. Like Brendan Todd last week was in the optimal lineup. Kept showing up way too many times. I didn't like it. Just like, no. I don't want to play Brendan Todd here. And it's like, that's how I feel about Lowry. I don't mind playing Harman because he's so cheap, but I also don't want to play him that much either. Like that's one of those things that like I can't, like, no, thank you. I don't mind the other guys, but I also don't want to play them too much. But they keep showing up, so just have a feeling. Jeffrey, I already see an issue. At least with the sweet spot process. We can certainly build lineups around this, no issue whatsoever. But they're in the same Marquee Tee Time. They're all both in group 1, which is fine. We can go ahead and allow it. Build lineups with it. Scheffler, Cantley, Tom Kim, Harman, of course, and Poston, of course, and now Brennan Wu. Let's make it select an 8K. I'm guessing it'll probably select Shane Lowry. I imagine. Oh, it did not. Tyrrell Hatton instead. Interesting. Okay. Hey, I don't mind that. An interesting lineup. Poston, KH Lee. Not terrible. Yeah, so it's just going to constantly bring up Harman and Poston. So let's see here. I like Poston though, so I don't mind playing him a couple more times here. Stallings, he's been appearing a bunch too. Kirk, same. I don't mind a lineup like this. If I remove the 8K requirement, I'm sure we'll see more 7Ks now. Oh, no worries, Jeffrey. No worries. I mean, hey, that rule gets broken from time to time. What's to say it can't get broken this week? I just play the percentages. You know, it doesn't happen often, so I don't allow it to happen in my builds. But it does, so just gotta pick the week it does. And this could be the week. Let's go ahead and cross out Cantlay. Scheffler, Kim, Fitzpatrick, Connors, Poston, and Jaeger. Yeah, that keeps showing up too. Not terrible. Don't really care for it, but not bad. Just gonna keep doing the same ones over and over and over again. All right. Who do I... okay, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna build a couple more lineups and I'm gonna call it a night. You can certainly put another combo in there and I'll build like, you know, 2 or 3 more lineups, but I think what I absolutely have to have in my lineup is Taylor Montgomery, for sure. Have to. I want him in my lineup. I also want Taylor Pendrith in my lineup. And believe it or not, so I was, I think a fun follow is on Twitter is PGA Tour Splits. Or PGA Tour, no. PGA Splits, that 101. So I'm gonna shout out Ron Kloss. He's my buddy Byron's bet spurts. What would you call it? I don't even remember. When you work together. Words are hard right now. I like his pin tweet. It's a risk reward week at the WMPO with 3 must score par 5s. So when we look at this, Rory McIlroy's at the top. Cantlay is 2. So it shows par 5 from 560 yards or 500 to 600 yards last 36 rounds. That's what he's putting in, and then he ranks them, and it's fine to rank. I don't care. I rather see the raw numbers. And then he's got par 5 birdie or better percentage of the last 18. I don't know if that's months. I'm assuming, which is fine. I mean, it's a long term, which is absolutely fine. I don't mind that. Aggression. Now, I don't know if this is a subjective stat. I don't mind it whatsoever. I like aggressive players. So like Rahm, I like Rory, Cantlay, love that. Going for the green proximity the last 18 months, I'm guessing. You know, these guys here at the top, maybe not so much Rahm, but like it just like points to Rory, right? Rory or Cantlay or Cantlay seems like good plays. And then eagle percentage the last 50 rounds. So, you know, Rory's really high. Im and Johnny Vegas are really high. So like if you look at Johnny Vegas, 4th, 9th, 6th, 5th, he's coming off a shoulder surgery. But if I were to look at his last, you know, few weeks that he's played coming back, Johnny Vegas missed cut at the American Express, but then 25th at the Farmers Insurance Open. Farmers is a pretty hard course. We could call this rust coming back from shoulder injury, but like 25th is pretty darn good. So I was looking at this and I'm like, huh. Well, there's Taylor Montgomery. We already know he's pretty darn good when it just comes to bombing it. And then Taylor Pendrith, which is a big guy, big ball hitter. We already know he's pretty good with, you know, par 5 scoring. I could probably cross him out and not choose him and maybe select someone else, because like Pendrith and Mitchell are the same price. I mean, not that I don't know. It's not that big of a deal to me, but like I kind of want to put Vegas in my lineups. A lot of people, I guess, are gravitating towards them, and that's cool. I'm fine with that. I don't really care for this proximity stat. That's not a huge deal to me. I would much rather like eagle percentage. Like that's a big one to me. Xander's up there. Vegas again. Taylor Montgomery. So I don't necessarily care how you get it done. I just want to see you, you know, with a high eagle percentage. So I absolutely like that. And even JT Poston's down here. So like these numbers here are pretty watered. So from Maverick McNeely's 33.38 to Garrick Higo's 39, they're all pretty bunched. So any of the 7K golfers in here, like Pendrith, Patrick Rogers is a 6K golfer, so that's interesting. Poston is here, so like Poston and Pendrith, they're to me are kind of interchangeable. Like it's not a big deal. You could go to either one of those. But like there's Montgomery, and like I was saying before, I want to put either Rahm or Rory in my lineup. But so it's Montgomery for me. I'm thinking about Pendrith. That seems like a good choice. Could even include Hayden Buckley, who's a 6K golfer. So if it's not, you know, Johnny Vegas, maybe it's Hayden Buckley. So anyways, I like Vegas, and that's kind of what I was getting at. So $6,700. He was 70th in my model. I gotta find him. It's gonna be down here somewhere. There he is. So Vegas, that already put in, yeah, Pendrith and Montgomery. So those three guys together, and just keep all the buckets as is. Yes, colleague is the word I was looking for, Jeffrey. It's, hey man, been on for 3 hours. We're breaking down. Cantlay and Scheffler. That's super interesting. I don't want Harmon. I don't want to see Harmon. Stop showing me Harmon. We're going to continue to go with Scotty. I don't want to see Scotty, man. But it's nice to see Poston show up also. That's pretty cool. If I take out Scheffler, this is probably a bucket issue. It's probably has something to do with the minimums. Xander, then Max Homa. See, now I don't want Xander. I want to see it with Rahm or Rory. Oh. Yeah, I probably can't get behind that. So Hubbard, 862. Raw Webb gets included. Come on. Ooh, this was close to being what I kind of wanted to see. Don't really care for Riley, and I also don't care for Justin Thomas, so trying to make this work out to see a lineup that I absolutely want to see. I don't mind this. This is absolutely fine. I'm gonna actually save that one. But let's go ahead and get rid of Fitzpatrick. It's not the other 9K golfer I want to see. Like, I would love to see Morikawa get chosen, even Sungjae Im, Tom Kim even. I'm so surprised that it's not weird. Nate Lashley, I don't care. And it breaks. Huh. All right. I wonder, what would it be? Is it all AM golfers? I bet you that's what it is. So Montgomery, Pendrith, Vegas. Yeah, that's the issue. All of them are AM golfers. And anyone listening right now, the reason why that's a big deal. Rom Tom, love that. It's actually a pretty good combo. More often than not, when you see optimal lineups, it's never 6 of 1 like split. It's always like there's rarely ever more than 4 from each split. So that's what I'm including in mine. And the fact that he's here, so let's see. I could replace him with JT Poston if Poston is a PM golfer, which he is. Remember, it was between Pendrith and Poston. So this probably just makes lineup building a little bit easier. Yep. And I don't mind Adam Hadwin, but it's not someone I'm trying to get to. So I'm going to cross Adam Hadwin out. There we go. First Tom Kim lineup. Yeah, so I don't mind something like this. I'm going to save that lineup. And then I'm going to cross out Norin. I don't mind a lineup like that either. Cool. But I'm also going to cross out Todd. So what was my dummy line? Forgot. It was Rory, Cantlay, Montgomery, Pendrith, Poston, Vegas. I thought that worked out. Oh, Poston and Pendrith were included. Okay, cool. I mean, this works out too. I imagine I can still get there using Rory and Cantlay, but I don't really have to, right? I like this lineup either way. So Denny 72, we're gonna get rid of that guy. I'm trying to get to Tom or Rom Tom. We'll just make sure it selects Tom Kim. I imagine it'll pick Rom. There we go. Hoagie, hey, that's a great lineup. Let's see, 969. Let's get rid of him. I don't mind a lineup like that, but I guess I don't really want that many 6K golfers. Where's Penn? Because 830. All right, I think I'm gonna build a couple more. Getting pretty tired now. Party Marty. The name fits, but I don't think the game does. And it breaks. So can't build too many lineups this way. Interesting. Who was another 6K golfer outside of Vegas? Forget who I said. Patrick Rogers and Hayden Buckley. Buckley seems like a good choice. And he's a PM golfer. That obviously helps. Rom, Kim, and Nick Taylor. That's pretty cool. I like that lineup. And it kind of breaks. Okay. I imagine I don't do posting. So I want Montgomery for sure. I don't mind Kim. Okay. I'm not going to continue to build lineups. I think we leave it right there. Thank you for joining me, Jeffrey. Thanks for catching the end of this. Built a ton of lineups. Saved 38 of them. When I originally just wanted to save 10. So that's what happens when building lineups. You just see a bunch of lineups that you like. That's just how it goes. Hopefully you guys got some decent insight into building lineups, or ideas, I should say, in what you want to do. I personally think ROM or Rory is the way to go. And doing the 10-9-8 7-7-6 model just seems all that the easier to do. Like just going back, you can build a 10-9-8 7 or 6-6, I guess. Hey, that's what we've been doing. We've been doing 10-9-8 6 or 7-6-6. You know, you got a bunch of these lineups that you can do. More 6-6s. Interesting. I think we have our answer. Are we doing 10-9-8 7-6-6? Or even 10-9-9 7-7-6? Hey, we have an optimal lineup that had the same price tag in it. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. Okay. I mean, I guess I'm getting more sold the more I do this. 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. The optimal was just, oh yeah, that didn't really matter there. We could replace these and go with a more balanced one, which that was a 9, 9, 8, 8, 7, 7. Your optimal used all 50,000 here, and that was a 10, 9, 9. Oh, we already talked about that, right? Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 6 is what I'm seeing most of those builds, and we've been doing that all night. Oof. Tired. All right, Jeffrey. Again, thank you for watching. And the people that are just jumping in, sorry, had to jump out, but you get 3 hours of content that you can go back. Last 2 hours, last 2.5 hours, we're building lineups. First hour was just going over anchor buckets, Marquee Tee Times, also the SweetSpot score, how it was created, how the rankings shook out, and then yeah, just built a bunch of lineups. So again, thank you all for watching. Of course, you know Jason Day's on my blacklist, right? Just a reminder, giveaways. You want in, Jeffrey, you got yourself an entry just by participating in the live chat. But if you want another way, just go and check out all the videos I posted on YouTube. Be subscribed, comment on each of them, and that gets you free entries into the giveaway. So the monthly one will be ran at the end of the beginning of the next month. We already ran one yesterday. If you haven't seen if your name's called, go check it out. I forget who already won. But I also do a weekly giveaway using the same criteria, which I run every Monday, every single week. So if you want an entry, again, comment down below, be subscribed. I want to reward you for participating, so it's my way of doing so. And then, yeah, you'll get entered into the weekly as well as the monthly. And if we can reach the sub goal of 500 subscribers that you can see all the way over there at the left side of the screen, I'm going to give away $50. If not, we give away a t-shirt that has the logo of the same logo that I have on this sweatshirt. And someone won that yesterday, so those are those giveaways. Prize picks, if you're not signed up, I have a link in the description. I'll get you to the sign up page. It'll already populate the promo code SweetSpot in there. And if you put 20 bucks in your account while signing up, I'm going to give you your $20 back. That way you get to play it for free. Prize Picks will match your deposit up to $100. So that 20 turns into 40. It really just needs that sign up information and that deposit. So easy way, link in the description again. And hopefully you're following along with the cheat sheet. If you want the optimizer that I was using while building lineups, be subscribed, comment down below, reach out to me at SweetSpotDFS@gmail.com, and I will provide it for you. Other than that, I am done. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like on your way out, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.